1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I like it. Perfect. So that's where my level's going to be at 3. The hell's this nonsense? Definitely not what I wanted to do. Live from Billings, Montana, Post 22 Baseball is on the air. Happy Mother's Day to everybody tuning in back home in the Black Hills or from wherever you may be listening to today's games. Another doubleheader, actually a doubleheader, will be played as scheduled today. Post 22 Hardhats start off Game 1 against the host Billings Scarlets here from Joe Pertz Field. With that, we say good morning, and again, happy Mother's Day to everybody. From our press box, sort of press box at Pertz Field, Mark Benetti alongside you in the broadcast booth from Billings, Montana. Post 22 Baseball taking on the Billings Scarlets and the Missoula Mavricks today in 2 7-inning games, spanning this morning and the early parts of this afternoon. Post 22 had a fantastic baseball game played last night. They were unfortunately on the wrong end of it. And you talk with Coach Torvey and you talk with Coach Clapperich, and they'll tell you they absolutely love the compete level. They have no problems with losing the game because they competed. Good things came for this post-22 team, and as Coach Torvey said, the Billings Royals, they had one more bleeder of a hit than the Hardhats did, and that was the difference maker in the bottom of the 10th. Bleeder advanced the runner all the way to third, and then before you know it, a sacrifice fly knocks him in. 9 2/3 innings of baseball were played, and the Hardhats suffered their first loss of the season, falling 3-2. In the 10-inning affair. So as I mentioned, they're going to play their doubleheader as scheduled today. Mother Nature decided to cooperate with us this morning, so it's just slightly overcast here in Billings at about 52 degrees, so nobody's freezing. I'm not shivering. Neither is my director of Hardhats-TV, Seth Harwood. Looks like everybody is ready to rock and roll for today's doubleheader action. Well, we'll go ahead and start off with the lineups for the Hardhats taking on the Scarlets today. 7-inning matchup, and we'll have the performance of the national anthem before we kick off today's festivities. So the Hardhats will bat in the top halves of our 7 innings here in Game 1. Leading off once again is number 22, Cooper Bowman. He's out at the shortstop position. Batting second is number 13, Connor King. He'll patrol center field. Batting third is number 18, Alex Weaver. He'll patrol left field. And in the cleanup position, changing up last night's lineup, is number 30, Jace Caldwell, and he'll serve as the designated hitter this morning for the Hardhats. Batting fifth is number 23, Jack Sorensen. He will take over Caldwell's spot over at first base. Batting sixth is number 15, Zach Sumption, is always patrolling right field. Batting seventh is number 21, Matt Hegry. He's out at second base today with Carter Deming out of the lineup. Batting eighth is number 25, Ryan Schmidt. He is the backstopper and catcher. And rounding out the batting order for the Hardhats is number 31, Tyler McKnight, making his second appearance in a Hardhat uniform. He's out defensively in the hot corner at third base. On the mound for Post 22 in this first game is Drew Messer. He will make his second start of the season and his third appearance overall. He has 5 1/3 innings of work under his belt, a 1.31 ERA, has struck out 7, walked 6, issued a free pass as well by hitting 1 batter. He's only allowed 1 run on the year that was earned on 5 hits in his 5.1 innings of work. So good things coming for Drew Messer on the mound as he will take on the Billings Scarlets lineup. That is as follows in the bottom halves of our 7 innings of regulation. Leading off for the Scarlets is number 11, Ben Tallman. He will patrol center field. Batting second is number 1, Kobe Croft. He is out at shortstop. Batting third is number 15, Corey Brownson. He'll serve as the designated hitter this morning for the Scarlets. And in the cleanup position is number 7, Dylan Johnson. He is the backstopper and catcher. Batting fifth is number 6, Cole DeVries. He'll patrol right field. Batting sixth is number 17, Taylor Musgrave. He's out at second base. Batting seventh is number 22, Aaron Seward. He is out in the hot corner at third. Batting eighth is number 12, Colby Kimmett. He is out at first base. And rounding out the batting order in the ninth spot for the Scarlets is number 3, Logan Meyer. He will patrol left field. And on the mound for the Scarlets to start off the ball game is number 10, Ryan Paul. So again, the compete level was there last night for the Hardhats. They just fell on the unfortunate end of the decision, 3-2 in extra innings. And as Coach Torvey said, it was just one bleeder was the difference in the ball game. But on the bus, I went up to Coach Torvey and said that was a tough loss, but the guys played well. And he said, you know what, Mark, that was a pure baseball game. It was exciting, a pitcher's duel, defensive-minded, clutch hitting when both teams needed it. But again, it was just the difference was a bleeder. It was a bloop that allowed the Royals to put a man 90 feet from home, and then the sacrifice fly with 1 out knocked him in, and that was all she wrote. So the Hardhats through 6 games are now 5-1. Their only loss coming away from Fitzgerald Stadium. Only 1 game played so far at Fitzgerald Stadium this season, so it'll be good to see next weekend, this upcoming weekend, I should say, now that this is Sunday, that the team will be back in the friendly confines of the Fitz and playing in front of the home crowd once again back in the Black Hills. This is game 1 of a doubleheader for the Hardhats. They will play 2 7-inning games today. This first one against the Scarlets. They were scheduled to play a doubleheader of 7-inning games yesterday, but Mother Nature decided she wanted to be a part of the weekend road trip for the Hardhats, and so that damaged the field enough to where time needed to be taken to get it back to a playing shape. That eliminated one of the games, and the Hardhats and the Royals agreed on playing just a single 9-inning game. And so that's what the Hardhats got last night when it came to game time. And game time was pushed back 2 hours from what was originally scheduled. 5:30 start for the 2 7-inning games. Since became 1 9-inning game, and it started at 7:30. We didn't get back to the hotel room until roughly about 10:30, as the game ended at 10:05 last night. So the Hardhats competed well. They got some fantastic pitching from Dylan Ritchie. He had 5 strikeouts in 5 innings. Didn't allow a run, only allowed a hit. And did very well in his start. As we mentioned yesterday, talking with the pitching coach Ryan Clapperidge, post-22 pitching is now going to see extended pitch counts moving forward. So great way to break in the guys the first couple of games and now try to stretch them out a bit. The pitching limits and pitching rules have changed, so there are still pitch counts and still guidelines in which to follow with those. But the maximum pitch count now for a starting pitcher, or for any pitcher in a game for that matter, is 105 pitches as opposed to 120. And that, I believe, is a byproduct of the American Legion pushing regulation to 7 innings instead of 9. Which I believe is also going to affect postseason play. I thought it was weird watching the American Legion World Series on ESPN last year that the championship was decided in 7 innings, but again, that seems to be the trend where it will be a 7-inning postseason. I think that'll translate to the state level as well, so everything will be a 7-inning regulation game. So the pitchers will still get to see some quality starts and quality innings, and if you can go really deep with your starter, then you can win a tournament based on your pitching. So I think if you have people you can stretch out to about 5 or 6 innings of quality baseball, and then your bullpen can lock it down, who knows where you could go with that. Hardhats are wearing their baby blues with white pants today, and the Scarlets are in black magic mode. They are wearing their black shirts with white pants as well. And it looks like our umpires have just reached the field, and fairly soon we will announce the lineups for both of these teams in this first of 2 7-inning games. Following today's action, the Hardhats will go back to the road one more time. They'll take on the Gillette Rough Riders in a single 9-inning game at 5:30 on Wednesday night, the 16th. After that, Cheyenne comes for the weekend for 3 7-inning matchups. A doubleheader starting at 5 o'clock on Saturday the 19th, and a single 7-inning game at 11:30 in the morning on May 20th. After that, a short trip up the road to Sturgis, and then it's rivalry action. May 25th, the first of 2 scheduled appearances against the Post 320 Stars. That'll be good to see both of those teams with about a dozen-plus games under their belts meet for the first time as rivals this season. A good schedule put together here for the Hardhats. It mixes a lot of competition with not too much daunting travel per se. Again, after this, it's a short trip to Gillette. That's about a 2.5, 3-hour drive. Sturgis, 20 minutes up the road. Pier, 2 hours away. And then you're at Fitzgerald for quite some time in Rapid City. And then you go to Omaha. And then to Sheridan for a pair of games. You're at the Fitz. Before you know it, the Big Gopher Classic. Shortly after the Firecracker. And then a couple more home games. Before you know it, the Region 3A played in Sturgis, again right up the road, and then you're in Pier for states, hopefully in Dickinson, North Dakota for the National Regional Central Plains Tournament, and then hopefully 45 minutes north of my home in Shelby, North Carolina for the American Legion World Series. So again, a very competitive schedule put together for the Hardhats this season, and this is always a very interesting weekend because this is a weekend early in the season, and this is Games 7 and 8 to be played today. And you're facing some top-notch competition. Billings Royals, Billings Scarlets, Missoula Mavricks, they all compete very hard, especially the Mavricks, a very aggressive team, as showed by their 14 runs plated last night against the Scarlets in their victory against them in 7 innings. So that's a team that will steal bases. They'll play some small ball. They get very aggressive when they have men on the base path. And they're very aggressive to their approach in the batter's box. So it's a different look that these Hardhats get to see. And for such a talented team, they are very young. So the more situations they can put themselves in, the better off they will be moving forward. As they ramp up the competition with the Firecracker, all those teams coming in, and then going to Creighton Prep in Omaha. Creighton Prep was the national runner-up last year in the World Series, so they're always a tough opponent. And before you know it, the Gopher, a lot of competition out there in Minnesota to deal with. And then last year, state proved to be a gauntlet for the Hardhats, and unfortunately their bats went very cold. And they unfortunately couldn't make anything of it in the 4 games they played. Well, the reserves are being announced right now for the Hardhats, followed by the starting lineup. And then the Scarlets will eventually be announced and take their respective positions in the defense. We'll have the performance of the United States National Anthem, and we'll be all set for first pitch here this morning on Mother's Day for the first of 2 games to be played for the Post 22 Hardhats. Their first opponent ahead of them, the Billings Scarlets. We'll go ahead and take a step aside, and when we come back, we will have first pitch all set from Perts Field in Billings as the Hardhats look to close out their road trip here in Montana. We'll be right back in just a few moments with first pitch here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hard Hats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Well, we are all set for first pitch here this morning at Joe Purce Field in Billings, Montana. Post 22 Hard Hats set to play 2 7-inning games, and their first of 2 opponents ahead of them, the Billings Scarlets. Thanks again so much for joining us this morning here on Mother's Day. Hard Hats fans, Mark Benetti alongside you in, I guess what you could call our broadcast booth here at Purce Field. A nice little picnic table to the side of the press box. Nice view with the chain link fence in front of us behind home plate as the Hard Hats are set to take on offense first with Cooper Bowman, Connor King, and Alex Weaver leading off the top of the first inning. They will take on Ryan Paul on the mound for the Billings Scarlets. Defensively for the Scarlets surrounding Paul is the catcher Dylan Johnson. At first, Colby Kimmett. At second is Taylor Musgrave. At shortstop is Colby Croft. And in the hot corner at third is Aaron Seward. Left to right in the outfield, Logan Meyer, Ben Tallman, and Cole DeVries. Paul comes in, a tall right-handed pitcher, throwing his warm-ups and has a fairly quick delivery too. So we'll see what kind of a pace he tries to set on the mound. Cooper Bowman will lead off against him. Bowman leads the Hard Hats in batting average, and last night ended up going 1 for 5 with a single and a strikeout. He's been batting in the leadoff spot since the second game of the season. And he will take on Ryan Paul first. Bowman leading the Hard Hats with a .400 batting average, 10 hits on 25 opportunities. He's struck out twice. He's been issued a free pass 3 times. Twice he has reached on an error. He has 4 RBI to his credit as well, second behind Jack Sorensen. Second behind Jack Sorensen, who is behind Ryan Schmidt. And first official pitch hits him. And just like that, right off the bat, Cooper Bowman will take his base. So the leadoff man's on for the Hard Hats as we officially start off this contest at 10:03 this morning. That'll bring up the left-handed hitting center fielder, Connor King. Bowman on first with the hit-by-pitch on the very first pitch of the ballgame for Ryan Paul. Paul will deal from the stretch, and his first pitch to King rides high and outside for ball 1. King comes into the ballgame with a .280 batting average, 4 ribbies under his belt, 7 hits and 25 at-bats. Ball and no strikes his count. And Paul from the stretch deals. High and away, 2 balls, no strikes. Not a big lead for Bowman yet off of first. Paul sets back on the mound and looks in for a sign. Sun's starting to show its colors out here from Purce Field this morning. 2-0 pitch. Called strike just under the letters of Connor King, and it's 2-1. Post 22 looking to get back to their winning ways, suffered their first loss of the season last night. Now at 5-1 through 7 games. And time called by Connor King just as Paul was about to throw it. Paul was changing his pace up. He took forever before he finally made a motion towards the plate. Bowman takes his lead off of first. No one out here in the top of the first, and we're still scoreless. Check to first, not there in time, and Bowman's back. Gets a little dirt on his uniform. Two and one the count here to King. First righty on lefty matchup. And the next pitch rides upstairs for ball 3 on King, and it's 3-1. So already a free pass issued by Paul with the hit by pitch to Bowman. Connor King a pitch away from what would be free pass number 2 and as many Hard Hats batters to start off this ball game. And the next pitch to King is a called strike. 3-2 now. to the hard hat center fielder. So first payoff pitch scenario here for Paul. And the 3-2 is high for ball 4, and Ballman was going. But he will just make that steal attempt into a free walk to second. So Connor King gets a walk. So Bowman hit by the pitch. Connor King, the base on balls. First 2 men are on the base path for the Hard Hats here in a scoreless top of the first, and that'll bring us to Alex Weaver, the left fielder. Quick conference on the mound between Dylan Johnson, the catcher, and Ryan Paul on the mound for the Scarlets. Alex Weaver comes into this game batting .208. Had a fantastic game last night. Ended up going 2 for 5. Pair of singles, and he hit into a double play as well. He has men on first and second to start off this ballgame. Paul takes a look at Bowman on second. First pitch to Weaver is at his letters for ball 1. Weaver has scored 5 runs. He has yet to register an RBI. A glorious opportunity to do so here with a man in scoring position early. Paul deals a 1-0, and that's upstairs. 2 balls, no strikes now to Weaver. This is about to be pitch number 10 from Paul in this start, and very early of his 10 pitches, soon to be 10 pitches, he's only thrown 2 strikes. So a rough start for him early on. First and second, nobody out, top of a scoreless first inning. Alex Weaver at the plate. Here comes his 2-0. And that rides high for ball 3. 3-0 the count now to Weaver. Weaver 5 for 24 on this season. He has singled 4 times and doubled once. And he's also been walked twice, a pitch away from a 3rd free pass on the season. Paul checks second, 3-0 pitch. That's a called strike at the knees of Weaver, and it's 3-1. Three balls and a strike now the count. And the pitch to Weaver. Misses low for ball 4. 3 free passes to start off the ball game for the Scarlets on the mound. Bowman now on third. King will take his position on second, and Weaver will trot to first. No one out. Every base occupied, and that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jace Caldwell. Caldwell, the 4th best average on the team, a dead even 300. And a glorious opportunity to blow it open for the Hard Hats. First pitch, called strike on a fastball at his knees, and it's 0-1. First time today that Paul has started off with a first pitch strike. 0-1 the count to Caldwell. Bases juiced. Still scoreless with no outs here in the top of the first. 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball, called strike at his knees again, and it's 0-2 quickly to the Hard Hats designated hitter. Caldwell played at first base last night. He went 1 for 4 with a strikeout and a single. Batted in the 5-hole last night. Been promoted to the cleanup spot for game 1 today. 0-2 pitch to Caldwell. Swung on and the ball is chopped just foul, third base side. And the count will hold at 0-2 for the Hard Hats DH. No score early in the ball game, top of the first. There are no outs registered, but every base is occupied for the Hard Hats. So a glorious opportunity to strike first very early in this ball game. Paul, the righty, looks in and gets a sign. He'll pitch from the stretch. And the 0-2 to Caldwell. Caught him looking, strike 3 with a breaking ball on the inside part of the plate. And so Paul comes up with a crucial first out of a backwards K variety in the scorebook. 1 down, base is still jacked, and that's going to bring us to Jack Sorensen. Sorensen batted cleanup last night. It started off as the DH before coming in for the final 2 2/3 innings of the ballgame. 0 for 5 with a pair of strikeouts last night. And first pitch from Paul. Swung on and the ball is chopped foul just next to the Hard Hats dugout third base side, and it's 0-1. Sorensen comes into this ball game, the second best average on the team at .364. 3 strikeouts, a pair of walks, 5 RBI to his credit. Second on the team. He is 8 for 22 on the year in 6 games. 0-1 to Sorensen. Breaking ball upstairs, it's 1-1. If Sorensen keeps the inning going, then the Hardhats will have scored a run, and that will bring up Zach Sumption. Bases are loaded for Sorensen, only 1 out. Top of a scoreless first inning. Already been playing for 8 minutes. Ball stepped off the rubber and looks in for a sign. Cooper Bowman, the most immediate threat on third. Connor King on second. Alex Weaver on first. 0-1 pitch, swung on, and it's hit to third and snared down, and the throw to first is in time. And that is a double play. L5-3, and that will end the top half of the first, and the Hardhats strand 2 men on the base path in scoring position. So no runs, no hits, and no errors charged to the Scarlets. We've played a half an inning, and we are still scoreless. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back, it'll be the bottom half of the first. The Scarlets will take to the batter's box for the first time in the ballgame. You're listening to Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV.
Coke Zero goes with things like this. This. And this. Coke Zero tastes like this.
He shoots! He scores!
It sounds like this. It feels like this. So when the game is on, try it with this. Coke Zero. Real Coca-Cola taste. 0 calories, 0 sugar.
Scarlets will now take their first swings of the morning. Ben Tallman, the center fielder, will lead off, followed by Kobe Croft, the shortstop, and Corey Brownson, the designated hitter. Drew Messer on the mound for the Hardhats in this start. Second start of the year. And his third appearance comes in with a 1.31 ERA. Surrounding Messer on defense is Ryan Schmidt at the catcher position, Jack Sorensen at first, Matt Heggery at second, Cooper Bowman at shortstop, and in the hot corner at third is Tyler McKnight. Left to right in the outfield, Alex Weaver, Connor King, and Zach Sumption. First pitch from Messer swung on, hit high in the air to right field. Underneath it is Sumption. He trots, and he makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 man up, 1 man down. And that is going to bring us to Kobe Croft, the shortstop. Croft, a right-handed batter, will take his first pitch. And that misses inside. It's ball 1. Oh, pitch. Swung on, and the ball is hit right by Messer, but to Heggery at second. Toss to first is in time. Sorensen did well to keep his foot tethered to the bag. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on defense, and that is going to bring us to Corey Brownson, the designated hitter. Brownson, a left-handed hitting DH, taking on the righty Messer on the mound. Full windup for Messer, and here comes the first pitch. That missed outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes the count. As Messer sets in, and he deals. That one skips low into the backstop. It's 2-0. Hardhats looking to get out of this inning 1-2-3 and keep it a scoreless affair through 1. We're playing 7 innings of regulation in both games today. Scarlet's the first Hardhats opponent, the Missoula Mavricks, to follow shortly after this game. 2-0 pitch, a called strike on the outside corner. And it's 2-1 to the left-handed hitting designated hitter Corey Brownson. Base path's empty for him. 2 outs and a scoreless bottom of the first. And Messer's 2-1 pitch. Called strike on the inside part at the plate at the knees of Brownson. And quickly it's a 2-2 count. Messer looking to get out of this on the next pitch. Here comes the 2-2. Missed outside and the count goes full. 3-2 now to Brownson. So first payoff pitch coming up for Messer. And here comes the payoff pitch. And that's outside for ball 4. So Brownson has issued a 2-out walk. And that is going to bring us to Dylan Johnson, the catcher. And the cleanup hitter. So first base runner of the day for the Scarlets. It comes with 2 outs. And the right-handed hitting catcher Dylan Johnson now up to try and keep the inning going. Messer about to deal his 10th pitch. Looking at a fairly efficient inning so far, but he does have to get out of it. First pitch. Missed high and inside, ball 1. Messer's only thrown 1 first pitch strike on 4 batters so far. And that was to Ben Tallman as he put himself out with a fly out to Zach Sumption in right. Messer will go from the stretch now. Here comes the 1-0. Called strike at the knees of Johnson, and it's a ball and a strike. If Johnson's the last out, the Hardhats will go to 6, 7, and 8 in the order, starting off with Zach Sumption. Here comes the 1-1. And that's a breaking pitch low that Schmidt blocks, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Dylan Johnson's up with 2 outs in the bottom of the first. We're still scoreless between the Hardhats and the Billings Scarlets. One of 2 opponents that the Hardhats will take on today. The Missoula Mavricks will follow in another 7-inning matchup after this one. 2-1 pitch. Swung on. Ball is fouled first base side and over the stands. And the count evens up 2 balls and 2 strikes now to Dylan Johnson. Cole DeVries, the right fielder, on deck. Should we get that far? If not, Hardhats will go back to the sticks, and it'll be the top of the 2nd inning. 2-2 from Messer. High and inside, and the count goes full again. So back-to-back payoff pitch scenarios here for the young right-hander. Messer takes a look at the man on first. That's Corey Brownson with the 2-out walk. Payoff pitch, runner goes, and it hits him. So regardless, Johnson taking the free pass to first. So 2 free base runners allowed with 2 outs. Walk and a hit by pitch, and that's going to bring us to Cole DeVries, the right fielder. And Coach Clapperidge comes out to have a quick word with Drew Messer. I think he's trying to loosen him up a bit. He's giving him a couple of playful shakes on the mound. Ryan Schmidt takes his position back behind home plate, and Coach Clapperidge goes back to the dugout. 2 outs, 2 men on, first and second, and that'll bring up DeVries, the right-handed hitting right fielder. Post 22, and the Billings Scarlets are scoreless. And the Hardhats are looking to keep it that way. Heading into the top of the 2nd. Still have to get out of this one first. Messer takes a look at the man on second. And his first pitch to DeVries is high and inside for ball 1. Messer had the first 2 gentlemen in the ballgame retired on 3 total pitches. And since then has thrown 13 extra and issued a walk and a hit by pitch. 1-0. Swung on, ball's hit to the left side of the infield. Bowman gets the stop at short. Oh, it goes right by him and into left. It just beat Bowman. He thought he had the scoop, and it goes right by him. And now the bases are loaded with 2 outs, and that will bring us to Taylor Musgrave, the second baseman. And I don't know if they're registering that a hit or not. But it's bases loaded for Musgrave and 2 outs. We'll have to see how they rule it. First pitch. Swung on. Ball's hit to the left side of the infield and into left for a base hit. 1 run's got to come in. No, it's past the left fielder Weaver, and it goes all the way to the fence. And this is going to clear the bases. And trying to head in with a triple to third. And safe at third is Taylor Musgrave. He has cleared the bases, a 3-run RBI triple. And it's now a 3-0 Scarlets lead with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Very unfortunate sequence. It beat Bowman. 1 run came in, but then Weaver, it just went right by him. And 3 runs came in. They ruled DeVries, by the way, with an E6. So 3 runs on a hit and an error in this inning, and what looked like a very promising start for the Hardhats has now turned into a 3-0 deficit. We'll come to Aaron Seward now, the third baseman, with a man on third and 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. And Messer deals. Swung on and missed. And it's no balls and a strike. 3-0 now the Scarlets lead. A 3-run RBI triple for Taylor Musgrave. 1-1 pitch. Just misses outside. Apparently a ball was thrown before that strike, and now it's 2-1. First 2 men were retired on 3 total pitches. That was Ben Tallman, first pitch fly out to right. Kobe Croft on a 1-0, a ground out to second. But since then, a walk, a hit by pitch, an E6, and a 3-run bases clearing triple. Seward's 2-1 is fouled off, first base side now to play, and quickly it's 2-2. Messer looking to get out of this one. Free base runners can really go back against you, and then errors don't make anything easier. 2-2 pitch. Misses low and away on the breaking ball, and the count goes full for Aaron Seward. So 3-0 now the Scarlets lead. Here in the bottom of the first, man on third and 2 outs for Aaron Seward, the right-handed hitting third baseman. And the payoff pitch. Caught him looking, strike 3, and that'll end the bleeding for the Hardhats. 3 runs scored on just 1 hit with 1 error charged to the Hardhats, and a man left on third. We have played 1 frame of baseball, and the Hardhats are in a 3-0 hole to the Billings Scarlets. We'll take a quick step aside, and we'll come back with the top of the second, and Zach Sumption to lead off for Post 22 in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Change to the ruling, and the stat line for the bottom of the first. It was 3 runs on a hit with a pair of errors charged to the Hardhats. So they did charge an E7 out in left field to Alex Weaver. The E6 to Bowman to load the bases up, and then it'll be an RBI single turned into extra bases for Taylor Musgrave on the E7. So that triple is now scored to a single with the E7. And now we go to the top of the second, and the Hardhats trail 3-0. What could have been a very promising start for the Hardhats in a scoreless deadlock has now all of a sudden turned into a 3-0 deficit. Ryan Paul on the mound to face Zach Sumption, Matt Hegre, and Ryan Schmidt, and his first pitch to Sumption rides inside for ball 1. Sumption on the season batting .150, and the 1-0 low and outside, and it's 2-0. Drew Messer, again, he started off the inning, 3 pitches and 2 outs, and since then threw 20, issued 2 free passes, and then 2 errors didn't help out. 2-0 to Sumption, swung on and it's chopped foul, a tad bit ahead of it, and it's 2-1. So the Hardhats need to find a way to battle back here, down 3-0 in the top of the second. Sumption, the leadoff man, is up. 2 balls and a strike from the righty, Ryan Paul. And a full windup. Here's the 2-1. That's a breaking ball upstairs, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Sumption looking to get on the base path to start things off. And here comes the 3-1. And it's swung on and missed. Low and away. Count goes full. 3 balls and a strike. And the payoff pitch is high for ball 4. So Assumption has issued a leadoff walk. And that will bring us to Matt Hegre, the second baseman. Hegre last night went 1 for 4, but his only hit came in the most clutch of fashions. It was a 2-out double in the top of the 9th, followed by an RBI double from Ryan Schmidt, who follows him in the batting order now. And that kept things alive for the Hardhats. First pitch to Hegre misses low and away for ball 1. The Hardhats had the bases loaded in the top of the first, but an L5-3 double play ended it. Here comes the 1-0. Swung on, and that ball's hitting the left field, and it'll drop for a base hit. And it's misfielded, and the ball's going to go all the way to the warning track. Assumption's on his horse. He is rounding third. He's going to come in to score. Hegre comes into third, and he's safe. And so it'll be a single for Hegre. He'll advance on an E7 all the way to third. So he won't get the RBI. Assumption advancing extra bases on the error. And now an error goes against the Scarlets, and the Hardhats are on the board, and it's 3-1 with a man on third and no one out here in the top of the second. And so now Ryan Schmidt comes up with a man on third and no one out. And his first pitch is low and away for ball 1. Schmidt last night, as I mentioned in Hegre's at-bat, had the RBI double to tie the ball game up with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. He's batting .200 on the season coming into this ball game. Ball from the stretch will deal his 1-0 to Schmidt. And that skips low. It's 2 balls, no strikes. So on third is Matt Hegre. He singled, and then an E7 allowed him to advance 2 bases. (2-0) to Schmidt. Skips before home plate. It's 3-0. Tyler McKnight, the third baseman, is on deck. 3 balls, no strikes the count. As Paul steps back to the rubber, and he will deal from the stretch. 90 feet to the left of Schmidt is Hegre. And the 3-0. Swung on, and the ball is chopped foul, third base side. And it's 3-1 now to the Hardhat backstopper. Schmidt in total on the season, 5 for 25. 3 doubles, team leading 6 RBI, and a chance to make it 7 if he plays his cards right here. 3-1 pitch. Swung on and chopped foul again, just ahead of it. Down the third base line, and his count goes full. So Schmidt had at one point a 3-0. Has fouled off 2 in a row to the exact same spot. Well, good to see him battling. Paul's ready to go. He'll throw from the stretch. And the payoff pitch. Swung on, and it's chopped foul again, so Schmidt stays alive. A good battle here as he will see a second payoff pitch. 90 feet to his left, Matt Hegre. Single and an error allowed him to advance. And the payoff, number 2, is low and inside for ball 4. So Ryan Schmidt has issued a walk. And now there are men on the corners. And still no one out here in the top of the second. And that'll bring up Tyler McKnight. The Hardhats trailing 3-1 with the tying run now aboard and the go-ahead run about to step into the right-handed hitting batter's box. McKnight has only batted in 1 game. He went 0 for 4, and that was at the end of Cheyenne. I'm sorry, that was Spearfish he batted. 0 for 4 with a pair of strikeouts. Taking his lead off of first is Schmidt. Leading off of third is Matt Hegre. Men on the corners for McKnight. And Paul deals. Swung on and missed. Low pitch. It's 0-1 to the Hardhat third baseman. So McKnight only playing against Spearfish this season. That was back on Wednesday night. Or Tuesday night, my apologies. That was on May 8th. Hardhats took a 7-4 win there in 9 innings. Check to first. Schmidt's back. No balls and a strike to McKnight. And Paul deals. Breaking ball upstairs. It's 1-1. Ball and a strike to count to the hard hat third baseman. 90 feet to his left, Hegre. 90 feet to his right, Schmidt. Men on the corner. Still no one out in the top of the second. A 3-1 Scarlets lead. 1-1. Swung on and the ball is chopped foul. Third base side. And the count now goes to a ball and 2 strikes. After McKnight, we'll go back to the top of the order to Cooper Bowman, who led off the ball game with a hit by pitch. Here comes the 1-2. And the pitch is a breaking ball low and away. Good on McKnight to hold back. It's 2-2. Schmidt leads off a first. Hegre leads off a third. Paul again from the stretch. 2-2 pitch. Runner goes. That's high and upstairs. And the throw to second is skipped off of the the second baseman. And coming in to score from third is Matt Hegre. So a stolen base for Schmidt. And Hegre takes home in the sequence. And now the Hardhats are down 1. A full count now to McKnight with a man in scoring position. And it's 3-2. So the Hardhats are a hit away from tying this ball game up. Big payoff pitch coming up to McKnight with a man on second. Still no one out in the top of the second. 3-2 now the Scarlets lead. And here's the payoff. Swung on and missed. Strike 3 on a breaking ball. Very well-placed pitch there by Ryan Paul. So now the first out is registered, and that'll bring us back to Cooper Bowman at the top of the order. A man on second, 1 out in the top of the second. The Hardhats have plated 2 and have cut their deficit to 3-2 against the Billings Scarlets. Bowman doesn't have a registered at bat yet. He was hit by a pitch to start off the entire ball game on the very first pitch he saw. And his first pitch is breaking ball high and inside. It's 1-0. Ryan Schmidt's on second. Stolen base under his belt. Ball and no strikes the count here to Bowman with a man in scoring position. His team trailing by 1. Only 1 out registered here in the top of the second. 1-0 pitch. Breaking ball low and inside. It's 2-0. Two balls, no strikes to Bowman with a man on second. Bowman coming into the game batting .400. 2-0 pitch. Misses low, and it's 3-0. And Bowman's a pitch away from his second free pass of the day. Three balls and no strikes to count. And the 3-0 is low and away, ball 4. So Bowman will take a free pass to first. That is his second one of the ball game on 4 pitches. Still 1 out, men on first and second. Now the force play in effect at third, or really any bag. And that'll bring us to Connor King, the center fielder, and it looks like we're going to have a conference on the mound and potentially even a pitching change here, as the bullpen has been pointed to. And Ryan Paul's day has come to an end, as there is a call to the bullpen for a lefty. And if I'm catching the license plate correctly, it looks like Andy Larson is going to take over. So a pitching change for the Billings Scarlets. Ryan Paul went 44 total pitches. New pitcher for the Scarlets is number 18, Andy Larson. 25 of which came in this inning. So only an inning and a third under the belt of Ryan Paul. That will bring us to the lefty Andy Larson. Now Larson inherits men on first and second, with 1 out here in the top of the second, and the Scarlets holding on to what is a 3-2 lead. It was 3-0 at one point. And since then, the Hardhats have come back to battle and get 2 runs in this inning. A leadoff walk for Zach Sumption. Hegre single, but then an error allowed Sumption to come around and score, and Hegre to advance to third. Ryan Schmidt stole second, and in the sequence, Hegre took home. Tyler McKnight struck out, and then Cooper Bowman walked. So that's where we stand right now. Men on first and second with 1 out here in the top of the second, and the Hardhats trail 3-2. Mark Benetti alongside you. You're on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM. Hardhats with 2 runs on a hit with 1 error on defense. Or 2 errors on defense, I should say. And for Billings, it's 3 runs on 2 hits. Should be 1 hit, I believe. And 1 error. And a bit of a scoring malfunction there, I believe. Schmidt retreats back to second after his brief conference with Ryan Klaprich, the first base coach, for this top half of the second, as well as Bowman on first. And it looks like we are ready to go. Andy Larson, the lefty, taking over for Ryan Paul. Paul ended up throwing 42 pitches, or 44 pitches. And now Larson, the lefty, comes in to deal with 2 men on, and Connor King, the lefty, up. And his first pitch is outside. King showed bunt, and it's 1-0. Something to be mindful of there. King was walked in his first at-bat. Back in the top of the first, he was stranded in scoring position. Larson takes a look around the diamond. Here comes the 1-0 to King. Called strike on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Right at the knees of King. Ball and a strike now the count. With 1 out, men on first and second here at the top of the second. Hardhats have struck twice. They are down 3-2. 1-1 pitch. Swung on, and that is ripped foul down the third baseline. And the count's now a ball and 2 strikes for the left-handed hitting center fielder for post 22. King with a chance here with a man in scoring position to tie the ball game up. Maybe even deal more damage than that. Bowman on first, Schmidt on second. Schmidt the most immediate threat on the base path. Ball and 2 strikes to King. And Larson, the lefty, deals. Breaking ball, swung on, hit right up the middle to short. Stops made on the play. To second to 1, to first for 2. They're not going to get it. So that'll be a 6-4 fielder's choice that allows King to reach the base path. So Bowman chucked out at second. Schmidt advances to third, so the tying run 90 feet away from coming in. That'll bring us to Alex Weaver with men on the corners and 2 outs here in the top of the second. Hardhats trail 3-2. And Weaver will come in with men on the corners, and he has a walk under his belt and 1 plate appearance. First pitch. That's outside, ball 1. Weaver again was fantastic last night, going 2 for 5 with a pair of singles. At one point, he was the only offense of the game. He had the first hit of the ball game that came in the 5th inning between both teams. Added another one, but couldn't come around to score. Next pitch is swung on. That's hit high in the air. Right field side. It's in foul territory, and it drops in front of Cole DeVries, the right fielder. So the count will even up for Weaver to a ball and a strike. Jace Caldwell, the DH, is on deck if we get that far. If Weaver happens to get a base hit, the Hardhats will have tied the ball game with Schmidt 90 feet to his left on third. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Weaver. Men on the corners, 2 outs, top of the second. The Hardhats trail by 1 to the Scarlets. And that next pitch is a breaking ball low and away. It's 2-1. And here comes the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and foul tipped into the glove. 2 balls, 2 strikes now. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Weaver. Men on the corners. A chance to tie it here for the Hardhats. Larson in relief trying to get out of this jam. Runner goes. 2-2. Misses low. They're going to let King go. Any throw would have surely brought in Schmidt from third. So a defensive indifference allows King to take second. And the count will go full here for Weaver. So the runners will be going with 2 outs and a full count. Weaver, 2 men in scoring position. A base hit would surely knock both of them in. It would actually give the Hardhats the lead. They trail 3-2. 2 outs, top of the second. Larson, payoff pitch to Weaver. Swung on. That ball is hit up the middle, and it's going to drop into center for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in to score. They're sending King from third. He's going to come in to score. A 2-run RBI single with 2 outs for Alex Weaver, and the Hardhats are back on top. Their first lead of the game. It's 4-3 with a man on first, 2 outs here in the top of the second. Brilliant piece of hitting for Alex Weaver to play off of his momentum from last night. 2 for 5 last night, 1 for 1 today. And he has given the Hardhats the lead. That's going to bring up Jace Caldwell, the DH. And his first pitch is a called strike at his knees, and he starts off 0-1. Caldwell was a victim of the only strikeout looking issued by Ryan Paul, the starting pitcher. He now has his first look at the lefty, Andy Larson. Here comes his 0-1 pitch. Swung on and missed on that breaking ball. And it's 0-2 quickly for Caldwell. If Caldwell keeps the inning going, then Jack Sorensen's up, and the Hardhats will have batted through the entire lineup in this inning. They have scored 4 runs. 0-2 pitch. And that's outside. Good patience from Caldwell. It's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Weaver goes. And the 1-2 is swung on, and that is hit high in the air, left field side, and that goes out of play, foul. And the count will hold at 1-2. So Weaver got on his horse on the pitch. See if he goes again. Weaver, the only man on the base path, standing on first. 2-run RBI single. Helped give the Hardhats a 4-3 lead. 1-2. Swung on, and that's fouled right in front of us to the backstop. And the count will once again hold at 1 and 2 strikes. Caldwell trying to keep the inning going. Bring up Jack Sorensen. 1-2 pitch. Runner goes, swung on, ball's hit to third. Stops made on the play by Seward, and his throw to first is low, and it skips off the first baseman. And Caldwell is safe at first, and advancing all the way to third is Alex Weaver. It skipped off of Kobe Kimmett. That's going to be an E5 on the throw. And so it comes with 2 outs. And Weaver was in motion, advanced all the way to third. So Sorensen comes up. The Hardhats have hit through the order now with men on the corners and 2 outs. And that is the second error of the inning issued to the Scarlets. And it looks like they're going to make a change over at third. Seward will come out. And now coming in is number 24, Jaron Wilcox. Uh, 24 is coming in for 12, excuse me. So Wilcox will come in for Colby Kimmett. And so Wilcox will go ahead and play third. They're going to move Seward to first. So Seward stays in the ball game. It was a low throw over at first. It wasn't properly scooped, though, by Kimmett. And so now Jack Sorensen comes up with men on the corners and 2 outs here in the top of the second. Hardhats have a 4-3 lead, and Sorensen has a chance to add to that advantage against the lefty Andy Larson. And there's a check to first before Sorensen sees the first pitch. Sorensen lined into the inning-ending double play in the top of the first to third base, L5-3. Taking his lead off for first, Jace Caldwell reached on the error. Alex Weaver is over on third. First pitch to Sorensen, fouled right in front of us behind home plate. And it's 0-1. 4-3, the Hardhats lead. All 4 of their runs coming in this top half of the second. And here comes the 0-1. Swung on, and that ball is pushed right to first. And it is caught by Seward, who moved over there, and that will end the top half of the second. Well, the Hardhats end up getting 4 runs on the power of 2 hits. There was, at least in my book, there were 2 errors charged to the Scarlets, and there were 2 men left on the base path on the corners. We have played an inning and a half, and the Hardhats, with a 4 spot in this top half of the second, have now taken a 4-3 lead over the Billings Scarlets. We'll take a step aside. We'll come back with the bottom half of the second. And Jaron Wilcox, the newcomer to the lineup, due up here in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. We're going to check and see where the errors are listed here, as Post 22 goes back to their respective defensive spots, and Drew Messer's back on the mound. And so now we'll go to Jaron Wilcox, who came into the ballgame for Kobe Kimmett, the first baseman. Drew Messer still on the mound, and his first pitch is low to Wilcox for ball 1. Kimmett was at first and was substituted after the error that they have actually charged to him, so an E3. And the next pitch misses for ball 2 from Messer to Wilcox. 8-9-1 due up for the Scarlets here in the bottom of the second. They had a 3-0 lead. They now trail 4-3. And the 2-0 for Messer. Called strike on the outside part, and it's 2 balls and a strike. So Wilcox, Logan Meyer, and then back to the top of the order to Ben Tallman. And the 2-1. Just missed. And it's 3 balls and a strike. 3-1 the count from Messer to Wilcox. Full windup and the pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air towards first. Sorensen in foul territory. He's going to give way to Sorensen coming in from right, and the ball drops. To Sumption coming in from right. And advancing all the way to second is Wilcox. So that ball fell in the Bermuda Triangle there. And Logan Myers up with the leadoff man in scoring position on second. And that will bring us to Logan Meyer. And they are going to call that one an E9. So the Hardhats charged with their 3rd error of the ballgame. So now here comes Logan Meyer. And his first pitch, high and inside ball 1. Meyer is a man on second with no one out here in the bottom of the second, and the tying run in scoring position. It's a 4-3 Hardhats lead, and that lead is now in jeopardy. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to center. King charges in. He's on his horse, on the run, and the ball drops again. And King is going to send that one to third, and unable to squeeze it in his glove is Tyler McKnight. So that drops in for a hit. Wilcox will advance to third, and Meyer is on safely with the single. And so now we're back to the top of the order to Ben Tallman with men on the corners, and Ryan Schmidt will issue out a signal to his defensive alignment from behind home plate. Tallman 0 for 1, swung on his first pitch, flew out to right. Been an error-filled ball game here for the Hardhats. Messer takes a look at each corner. And his first pitch to Tallman is inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to Tallman with Kobe Croft, the shortstop, on deck. No balls and a strike to count. Excuse me, a ball and no strikes to count. And the 1-0 from Messer. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. And that goes foul. And the count evens up at 1-1. A tad bit dangerously close to us. Nice little target-rich environment we're sitting in. 1 ball, 1 strike to count to Tallman with men on the corners and no one out here in the bottom of the second. The Scarlets are threatening with a tying run 90 feet to Tallman's left. 1-1, breaking ball. And runner goes, throw to second is in time. And the runner held on third, and they caught Logan Meyer stealing. So 1 out now, with only the man on third. That was a called strike, by the way. It's a ball and 2 strikes. And so now Messer is looking for a second strikeout, and boy, would that be a key second out. Next pitch, skips. And it's 2-2. Up 3-1. Discrepancy on the scoreboard there. 3 balls and a strike. Screwed us up there a little bit. 3 balls and a strike instead of 2-2 as the scoreboard had. And the next pitch swung on and missed. Tallman going after the high fastball, and now the count goes full, and we're all squared up. And everything is as correct as we believe it will be. Three balls, 2 strikes the count. And Messer deals the payoff pitch, and that swung on and lined in the left, and it drops for a base hit. It goes all the way to the warning track. Rounding first and heading to second is Tallman. Coming in to score from third is Wilcox. A 1-out RBI double for Tallman, and we are now all square at 4 with a man on second and 1 out here in the bottom of the second. Kobe Croft comes up as Wilcox comes in to score. Man on second, only 1 out. And the first pitch swung on, hit high in the air to center. And it comes to second to Matt Hegre. He came in from the second base position and made the catch. 2 down with a man on second, and that's going to bring us to Corey Brownson. Corey Brownson, the DH. The man on second, and now 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. All square at 4. Go-ahead run in scoring position. And Messer's first pitch is upstairs for ball 1. Brownson walked in his first at-bat. That was back in the bottom of the first, and he registered the first of what were 3 runs in that bottom of the first from the Billings Scarlets. Ball and no strikes is count. And Messer deals. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to right. Zach Sumption charges in, makes the catch, and that's going to end it. Well, the Scarlets end up tying the ball game. A run scored on 2 hits with 1 error charged to the Hardhats and a man left in scoring position on the base path. We have played 2 innings of baseball, and we are all of a sudden deadlocked at 4 runs aside. We'll take a step aside and come back with the top of the third, and Zach Sumption once again to lead us off. We'll be right back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. We've played 2 innings. We have 8 total runs, completely different from last night's affair where there wasn't a single run scored for either side up until the 7th inning. 5 combined runs last night, and we broke that total in the top of the 2nd. Now there's 8 total runs, and we're deadlocked at 4 aside. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats, it's 4 runs on 2 hits with 2 errors in the field. And for the Royals, it's 4 runs on 4 hits with 3 errors. Zach Sumption led off the top of the 2nd. He'll lead off the top of the 3rd against the lefty Andy Larson, and his first pitch is at the letters for ball 1. Sumption walked and then advanced all the way around and came to score on an error by the left fielder. 1-0 pitch is high and outside. It's 2-0. Sumption, Hegre, and Schmidt due up for post 22. Here in the top of the 3rd, tied at 4. 2-0 pitch, high and outside. 3 balls, no strikes to count. So 3-0 now to Zach Sumption. Full windup for Larson, and the lefty deals. Called strike on the outside corner. It's 3-1. Three balls, 1 strike to Sumption. Larson again. Deal, swung on, ball is hit foul. That's over our heads and into the field behind us. Count goes full to the Hardhats right fielder. And here comes the payoff. Swung on, ball is chopped in, it's hit to second. Charging in from second to make the play and the throw to first that's in time was Taylor Musgrave. So 4-3 in the book as Sumption's retired. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring us to Matt Hegre, the second baseman. Hegre 1 for 1. He singled and then advanced on the base path due to an error. And his first pitch misses for ball 1. One-0 pitch. That's a called strike on the inside part of the plate. And it's now 1-1 to Hegre. Here comes a 1-1. Swung on, ball is chopped foul, third base side. And Hegre's now behind a ball and 2 strikes with the base path empty and 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Deadlocked at 4 are the Hardhats and the Billings Scarlets. Larson shaking off signs, finally agrees on one. 1-2 pitch is upstairs. 2-2. And here comes the 2-2. And that misses up high at the letters, breaking ball, and now the count goes full for Hegre. Hegre again 1 for 1, came around to score the second of 4 runs that next inning, and on his full count pitch, he swings and misses for strike 3. So 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on offense as Larson gets his first strikeout in relief. And that is going to bring us to Ryan Schmidt with the base path empty and 2 outs, and his first pitch skips to the backstop. It's 1-0. Schmidt walked in the top of the 2nd. He came around to tie the ball game up at 3 before a 2-run RBI single ended up breaking the deadlock at 4. Here comes his 1-0. And that's low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes to the Hardhats backstopper. 2 balls, no strikes to Schmidt, and the pitch is outside, 3-0. Scoreboard having some issues today. It's a tad bit behind, and now it looks like we're all caught up. 3 balls, no strikes to count to Ryan Schmidt. 2 outs, and the base path's empty. And the 3-0 called strike on the inside part, and it's 3-1 now to Schmidt. Tyler McKnight on deck, if the Hardhats get that far. If not, the heart of the order is due up for the Scarlets in the bottom half of this 3rd inning. Tied at 4, no one on the base path for Schmidt, 2 outs. And the 3-run rides high and away, and it's ball 4. So Schmidt walks with 2 outs. He is on the base path as the go-ahead run, and that'll bring us to Tyler McKnight, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Larson takes a look at Schmidt on first, and his first pitch to McKnight swung on and missed. 0-1 the count. McKnight struck out with men on the corners as the first out in the top of the 2nd, and his next pitch is outside. 1-1. It was a payoff pitch as well. 3 balls and 2 strikes on that count. So 1-1 is count right now with a man on first. 2 outs here in the top of the 3rd. Tied at 4 with the Scarlets. And check to first is not there in time. Schmidt's back. Ball and a strike the count. And Larson deals. Check swing, and they're saying he went. That's strike 2. 1 ball and 2 strikes now the count. Schmidt the man on first. 2 outs, top of the 3rd, tied at 4. Tyler McKnight trying to keep the inning going for the Hardhats. 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball just missed outside. It's 2-2. Heart of the order due up for the Scarlets in the bottom half of the 3rd if McKnight's retired. If not, we go back to the top of the Hardhats order. 2 balls, 2 strikes is count. And Larson deals. Caught him looking. Strike 3 on the inside part of the plate, and that will do it. So the Hardhats get no runs on no hits, with no errors charged to the Scarlets, and a man left on first. We've played 2.5 innings of baseball, and we are still tied at 4 runs aside. We'll take a quick step aside, and when we come back, the heart of the order is due up for the Scarlets in the bottom of the 3rd inning, tied at 4. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats transition once again from offense to defense. And Drew Messer is back on the mound. He will take on the heart of the Scarlets order with Dylan Johnson, the catcher, Cole DeVries, the right fielder, and Taylor Musgrave, the second baseman, coming up. Messer taking his warm-up pitches right now. Nothing else has changed for the Hardhats as far as defensive alignment's concerned. Tied at 4, bottom of the 3rd. First of 2 games to be played today for the Hardhats against 2 different opponents. So Johnson comes up. He was hit by a pitch in his first at-bat and came around to score the second of what were 3 runs in the bottom of the 1st for the Scarlets. And the first pitch hits him. So that is twice that Johnson has worn one. And he will lead off with a hit by pitch to start off the bottom half of the third. And that will put the go-ahead run on the base path. And it'll bring up Cole DeVries, the right fielder. DeVries reached on an error and eventually came around to score. Go-ahead run is on as DeVries gets his signal from the third base coach. Messer takes a look at the man on first, and first pitch. Called strike. Fastball at the knees of DeVries. It's 0-1. So DeVries 0 for 1 with that error. Messer will come from the stretch. Righty on righty matchup. Check to first is not there in time. Great pickoff move, though, by Messer. No balls and a strike the count here to DeVries, looking for that second pitch. Messer again sets, and the 0-1. Bunt is showed, but pulled back as the ball was outside. It's 1-1. McKnight was ready to charge in from third to make the play. Ball on a strike the count. Messer deals. Called strike. Fastball on the outside corner of the plate at the knees of DeVries. It's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes the count. And the pitch. Swung on and fouled off. Off the fencing behind home plate. And it's still 1-2 now to DeVries. Messer about to throw his 45th pitch of this start. 1-2. Caught him looking. Strike 3 with the breaking ball. And that is the second strikeout for Drew Messer on the mound. One down with a man on first. Brings us to Taylor Musgrave. Musgrave 1 for 1 with an RBI. It knocked in 3 runs, though. It was an E7, cleared the bases. And his first pitch is fought off foul, 0-1. So he only got credit for the 1 run knocked in. He had the bases loaded with no one out, and then the E7 allowed everybody else to come home. So he cleared them up, and he ended up on third. Allowed him to take 2 bases on that error. No balls and a strike is starting count, though. A man on first and 1 out. Check to first is scooped by Sorensen, but it's not there in time. And so back safely on first is Johnson. Put on the base path with a leadoff hit by pitch on the first pitch he saw in the inning. Well, really the only pitch he saw. No balls and a strike to count to Musgrave. And Messer from the stretch deals the 0-1. And that's a pitch low. That skips to Schmidt. He gets the block, and it's 1-1. Hardhats are level with the Scarlets, 4-4 right now. Bottom of the third inning of what are going to be 7 of regulation. Here comes the 1-1. Called strike. Fastball right at the knees of Musgrave, and it's 1-2. Aaron Seward, the third baseman turned first baseman, is on deck. Ball and 2 strikes to count. Messer looking for that third K. And he missed it on the breaking ball low. 2-2. It was a solid pitch selection, though, to try and get Musgrave with that breaking ball that just broke down out of the zone. It came right through the middle, and credit Musgrave, he held back. 2-2 pitch. Skips low, and it's 3-2. Big payoff pitch coming up here for Messer. As there's a man on first and 1 out here in the bottom of the third. He has just thrown 50 pitches. Messer gets a look to first. And the payoff. Runner goes, swung on, and that's drilled over the head of Bowman and in the left for a base hit. Weaver comes in to field it from left. And it'll be a one-out single, advancing Johnson to second. Men on first and second now. That's going to bring up Seward, who is the first of 2 strikeouts issued by Messer in this start. Seward a backwards K, both of them backwards Ks for that matter. DeVries moments ago for the second strikeout, and Seward to end the bottom of the first with a man on third. First pitch, called strike. Fastball outside corner at the knees of Seward. It's 0-1. Post 22 and the Scarlets are knotted up at 4. 2 men on, 1 out in the bottom of the third. It's men on first and second. And Messer deals the 0-1. Breaking ball swung on and ripped foul just by Sorensen at first, and quickly Seward's in an 0-2 hole. Sorensen playing off the bag there, and that narrowly squeaked by him, but it just went foul. Oh and 2. Messer looking for his third strikeout. It would be 2 against Seward head-to-head. And Messer deals. Swung on, and it's fought off foul. And the count will hold at 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes to count. And Messer from the stretch deals the 0-2 again. And that skips low. Schmidt gets the block, but it bounces in front of him, and everybody's going to advance an extra base. So Johnson now on third. Musgrave on second. It's now 2 men in scoring position and a 1-2 pitch coming up for Seward. This is a crucial moment in the ball game here for Messer, as the go-ahead run is now 90 feet to the left of Seward. Base hit would surely knock in both. Messer deals the 1-2. Swung on, and that ball is ripped fair. It's a base hit. It's going to go all the way into the corner, and both runs are going to come in to score. Seward on his horse gets to second with a 2-run RBI double with 1 out here in the bottom of the third, and the Scarlets are back on top. It's now 6-4. Musgrave scoring from second and Johnson scoring from third. Turn on the ball and it went all the way to the corner. So now Jaron Wilcox comes in 0 for 1, reached on an error. And the first pitch from Messer, called strike. And it's 0-1 to Wilcox. So a man on second and 1 out here in the bottom of the third. A 6-4 Scarlets lead. And the 0-1 called strike, and quickly Wilcox is in an 0-2 hole. Scoreboard just a tad bit behind today in tracking the game with us. No balls, 2 strikes. Messer looking for that elusive third strikeout. And the 0-2 is a breaking ball that misses low, and Wilcox held up. It's 1-2. Thought about making an offer at it. But again, a very well-placed pitch by Messer. He tried to get him with that ball. That just kind of broke out of the zone and down. 1-2 pitch. Caught him looking. Strike 3. This time the breaking ball was in there. And that's 3 backwards Ks for Messer and 2 outs here in the bottom of the third with a man on second. That brings us to Logan Meyer, the left fielder who is 1 for 1 with a single, but he was caught stealing second base back in the bottom of the second. And first pitch, called strike at his knees. It's 0-1. If Meyer is the last out, then the Hardhats go to the top of the order in the top of the fourth. Cooper Bowman will lead things off. Messer takes a look at Seward on second, and the 0-1 skips in the dirt. It's 1-1 now. Schmidt with a big block. And Schmidt blocked that last pass ball, or that last ball that Just kind of skipped off of his paraphernalia, and the pass ball allowed Johnson to take third and Musgrave to take second. That put both men in scoring position, so it was a rough go there. That would have limited the damage for sure. We could have been talking about second and third instead of a man on second and 2 runs scored. Next pitch from Messer is a curveball that breaks in for a strike. 1-2. Now to Logan Meyer. Messer looking for a 4th K and looking to get out of this bottom of the third. 6-4 is the Scarlets' lead. 1-2 pitch. Caught him looking, strike 3. And that is the 4th strikeout of this start. All of them backwards Ks in the books. Well, the Scarlets end up getting 2 runs on the power of 2 hits. There were no errors charged to the Hardhats and 1 man left on the base path in scoring position. 3 innings are in the books and the Scarlets have retaken the lead. It is now 6-4 as we head into the top of the 4th with the top of the Hardhats order due up. We'll take a step aside and we will be right back with the top half of the 4th from Perts Field and Billings here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Slight bit of a breeze here from Perts Field as we get set for the top half of the 4th. Post 22 now trailing again by a pair of runs. 6-4 is now the score. Numbers across the board through 3 innings of play for the Hardhats. It's 4 runs on a pair of hits with 2 errors on defense. And for the Scarlets, it's 6 runs on 6 hits with a trio of errors in the field. Andy Larson, the lefty, back on the mound. He took over with 1 out in the top of the 2nd. Took over for Ryan Paul, the tall righty. He will face Cooper Bowman, who has yet to register an at-bat in this ballgame. And the first pitch from Larson is outside. It's 1-0. Bowman was hit by a pitch on the very first pitch of the entire contest. That was followed up by a 4-pitch walk in the top of the 2nd. 1-0. That misses low. 2 balls, no strikes to Bowman. Hardhats trail 6-4 here at the top of the 4th inning. Bowman leading things off at the top of the Hardhats order. 2-0 from Larson. Swung on, and that ball's ripped into left field, and that is a base hit. It's going to go all the way to the corner. Bowman rounds first. He is on his horse, and he will get to second with a leadoff double in his first hit of the day. So Bowman on second. Leadoff extra base hit. That's going to bring us to Connor King. King 0 for 1, reached on a fielder's choice, came around to score, and also walked. So King represents the tying run as he steps into the batter's box. Hardhats trail 6-4 here in the top of the 4th, and Cooper Bowman leads things off with a 2-base hit. First pitch. Swung on, and that ball is flared. Foul territory, third base, and it goes off the glove of Jaron Wilcox, and Connor King has a second life. That surely was set to be a pop 5 in the books. Instead, the ball is dropped. And Connor King, instead of walking back to the dugout, will walk back to the left-handed hitter's box. Bowman takes his lead off a second. Larson agrees on a sign, and he'll go from the stretch. Lefty on lefty matchup, and the 0-1 misses low, and the count is now even at a ball and a strike. One and one the count as Connor King settles in. Bowman with the leadoff double, leading off a second. 1-1 to King. Swung on, and the ball is fouled again, third base side. And it's 1-2 now to King. King on the season has struck out 5 times in 25 at-bats. 26 now. Soon to be 27, hopefully. 1-2 is low and inside, and it's blocked by the catcher Johnson, and the count evens up at 2-2. Seven hits on the season to 5 outs at the plate. Two balls, 2 strikes to count. Larson checks Bowman at second and deals. Missed inside. Breaking ball too far inside. Count goes full now to King. It was a great pitch. Trying to get King to go for that breaking ball, but it was too far inside to his liking. So a big payoff coming up. Larson's payoff pitch to King. Swung on, ball is chopped to first, and it goes right by the first baseman and into right for a base hit. Rounding third and heading home is Cooper Bowman, and he's going to score. An RBI single for Connor King. And the Hardhats deficit is now 6-5 with a man on first and no one out here in the top of the fourth. So an RBI single for Connor King, his first hit of the ball game. Man on first, no one out, and that'll bring us to Alex Weaver. A 2-run RBI single under his belt. He's 1 for 1 with a walk as well. First pitch is chopped foul, third base side, and he starts behind 0-1. Connor King on the season now 5 RBI. Larson, the lefty, looks at Weaver. No balls and a strike. And King goes, and they've got him caught, and the throw to second is not there. And King is safe at second, so he got away with one there. They had it snuffed out as Larson threw to first, but the throw to second was low, and the second baseman, Taylor Musgrave, couldn't settle it. So now King on second. And Weaver with an 0-1 pitch coming up. And Larson deals, runner goes again, swung on and missed, and the throw to third this time is not in time. And the head coach comes out and he is furious. They called Connor King safe at third. And if that holds, it's 0-2, and King is 90 feet from tying this ball game up. A pair of steals for King as of right now, and I don't think they're overturning this one. Very close play. No outs, and the tying run 90 feet to the left of Alex Weaver. 6-5 is the Scarlets' lead. No balls and 2 strikes. Larson looking for what would now be a crucial punch-out. 0-2 to Weaver. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air to right. Cole DeVries backtracks, he's underneath it, makes the catch. Tagging up from third and motoring home is King, and the throw's not going to get there. RBI sac fly for Alex Weaver, and we are deadlocked once again. 6-6 is the score with no one on the base path and 1 out here in the top of the fourth. So Alex Weaver responsible for knocking in half of the Hardhats' runs in this ball game. 3 ribbies on the day, and that'll bring us to Jace Caldwell. 1 out and the base path empty. And his first pitch misses outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count to Caldwell, who is 0 for 2. Struck out and he reached on an error. And here's the 1-0. Swung on, ball is hit foul. And the count is even at a ball and a strike. Andy Larson just threw his 55th pitch in relief. Came in for Ryan Paul. 1-1. That missed low. That was a good 1-1 pitch to throw. See if Caldwell was going to chase it. 2 balls and a strike now the count to Caldwell. And a full windup. And Caldwell hits that one high in the air to center field. Backpedaling is Tallman. He'll make the catch. So F8 in the book. 2 down for the Hardhats, who have tied up this ball game at 6. That'll bring us to Jack Sorensen, the first baseman. Very interesting stat line for Jack Sorensen. Today he is 0 for 2. Yesterday he was 0 for 5. And every at-bat he has had this weekend, he's ended an inning. And he swings and misses at his first pitch. He's behind 0-1. Lined out into an inning-ending double play in the top of the first, and then lined out to first in the top of the second. 0 for 7, and all 7 at-bats, he's ended the frame. Next pitch, a called strike with a breaking pitch at his knees. He's behind 0-2. So Larson ahead on the Hardhats first baseman. 0-2 pitch. Check swing, and he did not go. At least not from back here, I thought. 1-2 now the count. Oh, good on Sorensen to hold up. Ball and 2 strikes now from the lefty Larson. 2 outs, and the base path empty. Next pitch swung on, and that ball goes by the mound right to short. Croft comes into field, and his throw to first isn't there in time. So Jack Sorensen gets his first hit of the weekend with an infield single. And 2 outs, and that'll bring us to Zach Sumption, the right fielder. So Sorensen keeps the inning going. Stands on first with his first hit of the weekend. So for the first time as well, he will not end an inning. He has kept this one going. Sumption now up 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a ground out to second, and they'll tag back to first. He's not in time. So Sorensen's back. Yet to see a first pitch is Sumption, and now he will. Ball is hit high in the air. Foul territory, that goes out of play, and into the park behind us. Sumption starts off 0-1. Sumption came into the ball game batting .150 and is 0 for 1. Next pitch misses low, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike now for the Hardhats right fielder. If he keeps the inning going, Matt Hegre, the second baseman's on deck. If not, we will go to the top of the Scarlets' order in the bottom of the fourth. We're deadlocked at 6. 2 runs for the Hardhats in this inning. 1-1. Sumption hits it high in the air. Foul. And it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes to count. And the pitch. Swung on, and it's chopped right to the mound. Larson comes off to field, and his throw to first is in time, and that's going to do it. So 1-3 will end off the inning, but the Hardhats have done some damage. 2 runs on the power of 3 hits. No errors charged to the Scarlets, and a man left on the base path. And at the end of 3.5, we have played half the ball game, and the Hardhats have squared this one back up at 6 runs aside against the Scarlets. We'll take a step aside, and when we come back in the bottom of the fourth, it's the top of the Scarlets' order here in just a few moments on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Changing of the guard on the mound for post 22. Now in relief, the tall fireballing righty Branson Keel, who will come in for Drew Messer. Finished with 65 pitches in the start and 3 innings of work. Allowed 6 runs, only 3 of which were earned because of the 2 errors committed by the Hardhats. 4 strikeouts to a walk, 6 hits in 3 innings. So now we go to Branson Keel, the young righty, throwing high 80s for his size and his age and his experience. 4 innings of work in just 2 appearances. This is now 3 on the year. He is 1-0 with a win in relief. He has struck out 6. He's walked 5, also hit a batter, and has an ERA of 0. Has yet to allow a run this year. He'll take on the top of the Scarlets' order, starting off with Ben Tallman, the center fielder, who's 1 for 2, an RBI double and a fly out to right. So here comes Branson Keel. First appearance of the weekend, and his first pitch, a called strike on a fastball. That catches the outside corner at the knees of Tallman. 0-1. That is Branson Keel's bread and butter. This kid can absolutely fling it. 0-1 from Keel. And that skips low. Count evens up at a ball and a strike. Tallman, Croft, Brownson, the lefty, due up in this inning, barring any substitutions, of course. Keel takes his time. 1-1 pitch. Missed outside on the fastball. It's 2-1. We just started the bottom half of the 4th. Hardhats and the Scarlets are knotted up at 6 runs aside. Transitioning to this bottom half of the 4th inning. 2-1. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. Left field. Cooper Bowman's got it. The left side of the infield, and he'll make the catch. So a pop 6 in the book. 1 up, 1 down. That'll bring us to Kobe Croft, the shortstop. Croft is 0 for 2. Both of his plays to second base. A ground out to second and a pop to second. Keel taking his time. Full windup now. First pitch to Croft. Called strike. Fastball at his knees. It's 0-1. So 0-1 the count here to Kobe Croft. Looking for his first hit of this ball game. Full windup. Here's the 0-1. Buzzes the tower high and inside. 1-1 now the count. Branson Keel in relief of Drew Messer. Went 3 innings, struck out 4 and walked 1. 3 earned runs, 6 total allowed on 6 hits. 1-1. Swung on and missed on a fastball, and it's 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes now the count here to Croft. Keel looking for his first strikeout in relief. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. Right side of the infield. Sorensen underneath it, right on the foul line, and he makes the catch. Pop 3 in the book. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats quickly on defense, and that'll bring us to Corey Brownson, the left-handed hitting designated hitter. Brownson is 0 for 1 with a walk, a run scored, and a fly out to right. First time that he has seen Branson Keel. And the first pitch, swung on, ball is hit high to the left side of the infield. Ryan McKnight's underneath it at third, and he had to travel to his left. That ball took a crazy spin on him, but he makes the catch. And the Hardhats end the inning 1-2-3 fashion, which means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base for the Scarlets. We have played 4 innings of baseball, and we are deadlocked at 6 runs aside. We'll take a step aside and come back with the top of the 5th inning here from Pertz Field. The Hardhats see 7, 8, 9 due up. Starting off with Matt Hegre in the top of the 5th. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats Baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. No disasters to clean up here just yet, as both the Hardhats and the Scarlets are deadlocked at 6 through 4 innings of play. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats, it's 6 runs on 5 hits with a pair of errors in the field. And for the Scarlets, it's 6 runs on 6 hits with a trio of errors. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM, 1340 AM back in the Black Hills. And we're also streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. The fine gentleman standing now to my left, Seth Harwood, making sure that we are all systems go on that front and not a single hitch so far at least. Bottom 3 of the order due up for the Hardhats, starting off with Matt Hegre against the lefty Andy Larson, excuse me. And the first pitch, a called strike to Hegre, and it's 0-1. Hegre is 1 for 2 on the ball game with a single and a run scored. Also a strikeout as well. First of 2 issued by Larson. And the next pitch is a swing and a miss. Hegre was swinging for the fence there. And it's quickly 0-2 for the Hardhats second baseman. Hegre, Schmidt, and McKnight due up. Top of the 5th, tied at 6. And Larson deals the 0-2. And that misses low. And the count goes to a ball and 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes the count. Full windup for Larson, taking his time, and he deals. Breaking pitch is ripped foul. Good Lord. That could have decapitated somebody. Count holds at a ball and 2 strikes. He absolutely torched that foul. He was definitely ahead of that one. Ball and 2 strikes the count. Larson battling with Hegre here. And the lefty deals. 1-2, swung on, hit high in the air to right field. DeVries is in foul territory, and he makes the catch. That's an F9 in the books. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense. Now brings us to Ryan Schmidt. Schmidt has yet to register an at-bat in this ballgame. He has been issued 2 walks, 1 coming from each pitcher. Both Paul the starter and Larson the reliever. First pitch from Larson misses low. It's ball 1. Schmidt had some 9th inning heroics last night with an RBI double, 2 outs to tie the ball game up against the Royals. Unfortunately, the Hardhats couldn't get the win. Next pitch to Schmidt, rides high and inside, and it's 2-0. But Schmidt kept the Hardhats in it. Batting .200 coming into the ball game. And leading the team with 6 ribbies. 2-0, high and outside, 3-0. And the Hardhats catcher is a pitch away from what would be his 3rd walk of the ballgame. And the 3-0 pitch. Called strike. And Schmidt has to see another. It's 3-1. Post 22 suffered their first loss of the season last night, looking to get back on the horse. 3-1 pitch to Schmidt is outside for ball 4, and Schmidt has been walked 3 times in this ball game. This one comes with 1 out in the top of the 5th. So Schmidt takes his place on first, and that's going to bring us to Tyler McKnight, who has a pair of strikeouts. He is 0 for 2. Coach Torvey gives the signal from third to both Schmidt and McKnight in the batter's box. Larson's first pitch, outside, ball 1. 1-0 the count to McKnight, looking for his first hit as a Hardhat. 0 for 4 in just 1 appearance coming up to this point. He has struck out 4 times on the season, though, in what are 6 at-bats. 1-0 pitch. Catches the outside corner for strike 1 on the off-speed pitch. It's 1-1. Schmidt standing on first with his 3rd walk of the ballgame. 1 out, top of the 5th. We're tied at 6. So the go-ahead runs on the base path for post 22. Larson deals to McKnight. He showed bunt and immediately pulled back. And that missed the zone upstairs. 2-1 now to McKnight. That was a very quick showing of bunt. If you blinked, you would have missed it. I nearly missed it. 2-1. Larson deals. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air. Foul territory. And that goes over our heads. Starting to feel unsafer as the game goes on. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count here to McKnight. The odds of getting hit with the foul ball here are very low, but there are still odds. That's the point. 2-2. And that skips all the way to the backstop, and Schmidt's going to take second, and the count will go full to McKnight. So the wild pitch advances Schmidt to scoring position. The go-ahead run, 180 feet away from home. Tyler McKnight up in a duel right now with Larson. He has a payoff pitch coming. Second time today that McKnight has seen a full count. Payoff pitch. Swung on, and the ball is hit to the left side of the infield. Stopped on a diving play by the shortstop. They're going to throw to third, and he's not in time. I think McKnight would have been safe either way with that single there, so I'm going to give him an infield single. We'll see what they rule. But Schmidt, safe at third with some slick base running. Very close play, though. Back to the top of the order to Cooper Bowman, who was fresh off of his first hit of the ball game. 1 for 1, he doubled back in the top of the fourth. He has men 90 feet to either side of him. So McKnight, a big congratulations to him. I believe that is his first hit as a hard hat. And that it is. So Tyler McKnight gets his first hit as a post-22 hard hat. First pitch to Bowman. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air. To second base. Musgrave underneath it makes the catch, and not a single base runner will flinch for the Hard Hats. So that was an unfortunate sequence there for post-22 with the tying run 90 feet from home. And a one pitch, Cooper Bowman's retired. 2 down. Connor King now up. Fresh off of an RBI single the last time he was up. And now the catcher, Dylan Johnson, is exchanging signals with his Scarlets defensive alignment. Connor King 1 for 2. A walk reached on a fielder's choice. RBI single. Came around to score twice. First pitch. Misses low and away. Ball 1. 1-0 the count. And Larson deals the 1-0 to King. Swung on, and the ball is hit to second. Musgrave gets the stop. His throw to first is in time, and the Hard Hats' threat has been eliminated. They had the go-ahead run 90 feet from home and could not bring it in. No runs on a hit, no errors charged to the Scarlets. 2 men left on the base path. And again, the go-ahead run stranded on third. We've played 4.5 innings of baseball of our 7 in regulation, and we are still deadlocked at 6. We'll take a step aside with the heart of the Scarlets order coming up in the bottom half of the 5th here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post-22 had a glorious opportunity to break this 6-6 tie. But Ryan Schmidt was stranded 90 feet from home. And so that tie persists as we go to the bottom half of this 5th inning. Heart of the order due up for the Scarlets, taking on Branson Keel for the first time. Keel came in relief of Drew Messer, who went 3 innings. Allowed 6 runs, only half of them were earned, though. Struck out 4, he walked 1, and allowed 6 hits on 65 pitches. And so Dylan Johnson, Cole DeVries, and Taylor Musgrave are due up here in the bottom half of the fifth. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM and 1340 AM back in the Black Hills. And as always, we're streamed live on the internet on Hardhats-TV. Branson Keel takes his first look at Dylan Johnson, who has been hit by a pitch twice. And Keel's first pitch is low on a fastball. It's 1-0. Johnson was hit by a pitch on a full count back in the bottom of the first. He eventually came around to score. And then he was hit by a pitch in the bottom of the third and, coincidentally, once again came around to score. Free passes coming back to bite the Hardhats. 2 errors, a walk, and 2 hit batsmen. All 5 of those people have come around to score. 1-0, called strike, a fastball on the outside corner, and it's 1-1. Yeah, that's the stat of the game right now as far as free base runners are concerned. The Hardhats have only had 2 free base runners come in on their side of the offense. 1-1. That misses outside. 2 balls and a strike, the count now to Johnson. Two and 1 from Keel. Takes his time. The tall fireballing righty will now deal. A breaking pitch that misses. Johnson held back. 3-1. Keel went 1-2-3 in the bottom half of the fourth. He's in jeopardy of having to see more than 3 batters in this sequence. Here comes the 3-1. Swung on and missed on the fastball, and the count goes full. DeVries on deck, 0 for 2. Taylor Musgrave, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles. He is in the hole. Payoff pitch coming now from Branson Keel, his first one in relief. And time called before he can throw. Keel gets the sign from the umpire to keep going. First payoff pitch in relief. And Keel delivers. Swung on, ball's hit to short. Bowman gets the stop with the scoop. Throw to first in time. 6-3 in the books. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on defense. And that'll bring us to Cole DeVries. 0 for 2. Reached on an error. One of those free base runners to come around and score. And he struck out looking. The second of 4 issued by Drew Messer. First pitch from Keel is upstairs, ball 1. 1 out, no one on the base path for the Scarlets here in the bottom of the 5th. Still tied at 6 with post 22. And here comes the 1-0. Swung on and the ball's flared to second. Hegre gets the stop on the scoop. Throw to first is in time. So 6-3 and 4-3 in the books. 2 up, 2 down for the Hardhats on defense, and that brings us to Taylor Musgrave, who has a pair of singles, also an RBI under his belt, and has also come around to score once in the ballgame. Keel looking for back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. 2 outs, base path empty here for Musgrave. Still tied up at 6, and Keel delivers his first pitch. And that misses low and away for ball 1. If Musgrave is retired, Weaver, Caldwell, and Sorensen are due up for the Hardhats in the top of the 6th. If he keeps the inning going, Aaron Seward's on deck. 1-0 pitch. Swung on, ball's hit high in the air, foul territory, and out of play. First base side, it's 1-1. Ball and a strike they count. Keel takes his time on the mound. And here comes the 1-1 after a full windup. Breaking ball missed inside. It's 2-1. Haven't seen too many breaking pitches from Keel. His obvious go-to is the fastball, as that should be for every pitcher, really. Easiest pitch to throw. 2-1. Swung on, that ball is lined right to Bowman. He makes the catch, and that's going to end it. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for the Hardhats on defense, which, as we all know, means no runs, hits, errors, or anybody left on base. For the Scarlets, we have played 5 innings of baseball, and the Hardhats and the Scarlets are still deadlocked at 6 runs aside. We'll take a step aside and come back with the top of the 6th inning, and Alex Weaver to lead off for Post 22 here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Well, we have a pitching change on the mound for the Scarlets to start off the top half of the 6th inning. Andy Larson's start has come to an end after 3 2/3 innings of work. He took over for Ryan Paul, who only started the first inning and a third of play. Larson ended up going 83 pitches in his 3 2/3 innings. He allowed 2 runs, both of which were earned. He struck out a pair and walked a pair, and also did so while allowing 5 hits. Now Michael Zaske comes up, a tall righty, to take his place on the mound. Numbers across the board through 5 innings of play, still deadlocked at 6. The Hardhats have 6 runs on 6 hits with a pair of errors on defense, and the Scarlets 6 runs on 6 hits, but a trio of errors for them in the field. Zaske, the third pitcher that the Scarlets will use today. As we go to the top of the 6th, and for the first time, he will face Alex Weaver, Jace Caldwell, and Jack Sorensen. Weaver is 1 for 1, a 2-run RBI single and a sac fly RBI, as well as a walk under his belt. Weaver's had a fantastic weekend. Went 2 for 5 last night, 1 for 1 today with 3 runs batted in, half the Hardhats runs scored. And his first pitch from Zaske in relief is a fastball that misses low and away for ball 1. Zaske, a very tall righty, and with all of these tall pitchers, they come down on the ball, so there's a lot of velocity to deal with there. Here comes his 1-0. And that misses low and away again. 2 balls, no strikes. Weaver, Caldwell, Sorensen due up here in the top of the 6th. 6-6 is the score. The big inning for both teams. Bottom of the 1st for Billings, a 3 spot. Top of the 2nd for the Hardhats, a 4 spot. Next pitch to Weaver, swung on, and it's hit to short on a high hop. It's fielded by Croft, and his throw to first is in time. 6-3 in the book. 1 up, 1 down for the Hardhats on offense, and that will bring us to Jace Caldwell. The DH is 0 for 3. A strikeout, reached on an error, flew out to center field. Looking for his first hit of the day. And the first pitch misses low. It's ball 1. Ball and no strikes to count here to Caldwell. No one on the base path and 1 out here at the top of the 6th, tied at 6. 1-0 to Caldwell. Misses low and away, and it's 2-0. Two balls and no strikes. And Zaske deals. Swung on, ball is flared off foul. First base side, and it's 2-1. Two and 1 the count here to Caldwell. Caldwell came into this game batting .300, and he rips one right up the middle and into center for a base hit. Jace Caldwell, his first hit of the day, is a 1-out single. He's on first. Jack Sorensen, who just got his first hit of the day in his last at-bat, comes up. An infield single for him. So a man on first and 1 out here for Sorensen, the first baseman. First pitch from Zaski is a high fastball, 1-0. Sumption on deck if the double play doesn't send the Hardhats back to the field. 6-6 is the score. Go-ahead run on the base path again for post 22. And next pitch to Sorensen, swung on and hit to third. It's snared on the play, to second for one, to first for two. They're not going to get it. So that'll be a 5-4 fielder's choice. Wilcox with a fantastic snare at third. That was an inch away from disaster, but he made a fantastic play over there. So 5-4 allows Sorensen to take first. 2 outs now. And that will bring us to Zach Sumption, the right fielder. 0 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. Sumption came into this game hitting .150 on the season. Sorensen is back to the bag at first. He's safe. 2 outs, go-ahead run still on the base path. This is 3 innings in a row where there has been a go-ahead run on the bases for the Hardhats. Next pitch is swung on, hit high in the air to left center. And underneath it, coming in from center to make the catch is Ben Tallman, and that's going to do it. So the Hardhats get that run on base again, but they can't knock it in. No runs on a hit, no errors charged to the Scarlets. A man left on first. And at the end of 5.5 innings of baseball, the Scarlets and the Hardhats are still square at 6 runs aside. Branson Keel's back on the mound in relief for the Hardhats. He will face the bottom third of the Scarlets order. Off of back-to-back 1-2-3 innings. Let's see if he keeps that fire going. We'll be back in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats are back on the field. Branson Keel is back on the mound in what would be his 3rd inning of relief. He has gone 1-2-3, retiring 6 consecutive batters. And overall for the Hardhats, 8 straight have been retired. Starting off with back-to-back strikeouts for Jaron Wilcox and Logan Meyer. Back in the bottom of the 3rd. But since then, it's been straight zeros. Branson Keel now facing the bottom 3rd of the Scarlets order. Starting off with Aaron Seward, the 3rd baseman turned 1st baseman. Jaron Wilcox, the 3rd baseman, who came in as a substitute. Logan Meyer, the left fielder. Seward comes up 1 for 2 with a backwards K in the book and a 2-run RBI double. That came in the bottom of the 3rd to eventually give the Scarlets what was a 6-4 lead at the time. That has since been answered back by the Hardhats. Branson Keel's first appearance against Seward and his first pitch as a fastball called strike at his knees. And Seward is behind 0-1. No balls and a strike to count. Base path's empty. We just started the bottom half of the 6th. And the 0-1 to Seward. Swung on and missed. And he fell down. He was swinging for the fences on that one. Branson Keel threw out the changeup and really caught Seward off guard with that. Brilliantly placed pitch, 0-2. And now Keel has some breathing room there on the mound. We'll see what he does, 0-2. Here comes the 0-2 to Seward. Is upstairs, a ball and 2 strikes now the count. Seward, Wilcox, Meyer due up for the Scarlets here in this bottom half of the 6th. Two minutes away from a 2-hour baseball game here. Keel takes his time, 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and that ball is torched foul. 3rd base line and out of play. And the count will hold at 1-2. That's exactly how Seward hit his 2-run RBI double back in the bottom of the 3rd. absolutely turned on that ball. Here comes the 1-2 again from Kiel. And that's upstairs, 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes to count. And Kiel will deliver his 2-2. High and inside, and the count goes full. This is only the second payoff pitch Kiel has had to throw in relief. Second in the last 4 batters in particular. Full windup for the tall righty. Here comes the payoff to Seward, and that is high and inside, ball 4. So Seward was down 0-2 at one point and now has drawn a leadoff walk. So the go-ahead run is on the base path. And that is going to bring us to Jaron Wilcox, the third baseman, who is 0 for 2 on this ball game, reaching on an error, coming around to score, and was the third of 4 Drew Messer strikeouts. All 4 of Messer's strikeouts, by the way, were backwards Ks in the book. And so now Cooper Ballman and Ryan Schmidt are coming to talk to the righty on the mound for a brief moment. And it looks like we're right back to it. So Wilcox steps in the right-handed batter's box. Kiel takes a look over at Seward on first. And bunt to show, charging in from third McKnight, and the pitch is a strike. Wilcox did not contact the ball. It's 0-1. McKnight charging in from third to try and make the play. See if he shows bunt again. Seward takes his lead off of first. McKnight is in on the grass. Bunt is showed. Bunt is popped up, and Schmidt lost it. As it bounces away from him, it's 0-2. So unless Wilcox is feeling insanely lucky, the bunt is irrelevant at this point. If he fouls off on a bunt attempt, he would be out. So no balls, 2 strikes. Wilcox could not drop the bunt to advance Seward. McKnight still in on the fringe. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's chopped foul, third base side. And the count will hold at 0-2. I think McKnight will go back to parallel with third base. No balls, 2 strikes to count. Seward takes his lead off of first. Kiel looking for his first strikeout in relief. Still doesn't have one. And the 0-2 swung on. Ball's hit high in the air, but it is foul over our heads and into the field behind us. And it's still an 0-2 count. Kiel has had now 4 two-strike counts in his last 8 batters faced. From the stretch, 0-2 to Wilcox. Swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to shallow center. Bowman comes backpedaling from short, and he makes the catch. 1 down with a man on first, and now the double play is in effect to potentially end the inning. And that will bring us to Logan Meyer, the 9-hole hitter. 1 for 2 today for the Scarlets with a single. He was caught stealing on the base path, and he was the final strikeout issued by Messer in his start. That came back at the bottom of the third. 6-6 the score, a man on and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Kiel's first pitch, swung on, ball is hit foul, and behind us, 0-1 the count to Meyer. 0-1 the count. Kiel takes a look at the man on first, that's Seward. And he deals his 0-1 to Meyer. Called strike, fastball at his knees, it's 0-2. Kiel again still looking for that first strikeout in relief. Branson Kiel has 6 strikeouts on the year. And the 0-2 misses low and inside. Ball and 2 strikes. 1-2 the count from Kiel to Meyer, the Scarlets left fielder. Keel will look over at first at Seward. 1-2 to Meyer. Swung on, ball's chopped foul. Just over the outstretched hand of Todd Stevens in the Hardhats dugout. And the count remains 1-2. If the double play ends this inning, the bottom three are due up in the order for the Hardhats in the top of the seventh, our final inning of regulation. 1-2 pitch. Swung on, and it's fought off foul again. Jammed inside, and it's still 1-2 now to Meyer. Keel looks in for a sign, quickly peeks back at first. 1-2 from Keel to Meyer. Swung on, and it is dropped, but strike three regardless. And so Keel has his first strikeout in relief. 2 down with a man on first, and back to the top of the order we go to Ben Tallman. Tallman 1 for 3 with an RBI double. A fly out to right and a pop out to Cooper Bowman at short. Go-ahead run is on first with 2 outs here in the bottom of the sixth. We are still tied at 6. Keel takes a look over at Seward on first. And the first pitch is high and away, ball 1. Keel about to throw his 39th pitch in relief. And what is his third inning? He went 1-2-3 up till this point, led off with a walk, but has retired 2 in a row since. "1-0 to Tallman. Is high and inside, buzzes the tower, it's 2-0. If Tallman keeps the inning going, Kobe Croft, the shortstop's on deck, 0 for 3 in the game. If not, we go to the top of the 7th. Hardhats' last 3 offensive outs in regulation, and Matt Hegre will lead off. 7-8-9 due up. 2-0 from Keel. Upstairs, it's 3-0. Tallman a pitch away from a 4-pitch free pass. Three balls, no strikes the count. Keel deals. Ball 4 inside. It's a 4-pitch walk. Second one issued by Keel in relief and in this inning. So 2 outs. Go-ahead run now in scoring position with Seward trotting to second, and Ryan Clapprich, the pitching coach, will come out and have a quick word with his young righty, his catcher Ryan Schmidt, and then Cooper Bowman wants to be a part of the party, so he'll come in from short. 6-6 is the score. Here in the bottom of the 6th, Scarlets are threatening with the go-ahead run 180 feet from home. And Kobe Croft, 0 for 3, looking for his first hit. The law of averages would dictate that he is due for one, if you will. We'll see if that plays out. First and second, 2 outs, bottom of the 6th, tied at 6. Keel a look to second and his first pitch. Hits him! And the bases are loaded. And the Scarlets are really threatening now. Bases loaded, 2 outs. And that's going to bring up Corey Brownson, the DH. Brownson's 0 for 2, but he has walked and he has come around to score. That was a key hit batsman that I know the Hardhats will want back. 2 outs, every base occupied. First pitch from Keel is a fastball outside to the lefty DH, and it's 1-0. 6-6 is the score, and you got to hope that a miscue like that is not what allows the Scarlets to retake the lead again. 1-0. Fastball inside at the knees called strike, and it's 1-1. Keel needs to get out of this jam for his Hardhats to have any chance in this ball game. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball just missed outside, and it's 2-1. If Brownson perpetuates the inning, then that means the Scarlets will have the lead in some shape or form. And Dylan Johnson's now up on deck. Next pitch, swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to center. Connor King is backtraddling. He is underneath it. He makes the catch, and that's going to end it. So the Hardhats had a tad bit of a scare to deal with, but they get out of the jam. No runs, no hits, no errors charged to post 22, and the bases were left loaded. 6 innings in the books, each team with 6 runs on either side of the scoreboard. We'll come to our final inning of regulation. Wouldn't surprise me if for a 4th time in 7 games we go past regulation for post 22. We'll take a step aside with the bottom 3 due up for the Hardhats here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Mike Zaske is back on the mound in relief for the Billings Scarlets in our final inning of regulation. Does not necessarily mean our final inning of the ball game. As of right now, we're deadlocked at 6 through 6 innings. Post 22 taking on the Billings Scarlets in Game 1 of their doubleheader. Shortly after the conclusion of this game, the Hardhats will take on the Missoula Mavricks and then get on the bus and head back home to Rapid City. Numbers across the board for the Hardhats, it's 6 runs on 7 hits with a pair of errors in the field. And for the Scarlets, it's 6 runs on 6 hits with a trio of errors on defense. Happy Mother's Day to everybody listening back at home or wherever you may be listening from in the Black Hills or outside of the Black Hills. Didn't know where I was going with that sentence. Sometimes words are hard. Matt Hegre hit by a pitch to start off, and the go-ahead run just like that on one throw is on the base path for post 22 to start off the top of the 7th. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City, 105.7 FM and 1340 AM back in the Black Hills. But as always, we are streamed live on the internet via video on Hardhats-TV. Ryan Schmidt now comes up. He came up with some 9-inning heroics last night. Let's see if he does so in the 7th inning tonight. Or rather today, I should say. Man, words really are hard today. Good Lord. Hegre on first. He is the go-ahead run for the Hardhats. Schmidt is up, and his first pitch is swung on and missed. 0-1 the count here to Schmidt, who has been walked 3 times in the ballgame. Hegre, by the way, now 1 for 3 with the single. He has come around to score once, and now the hit by pitch has put him on first to lead off the top of the 7th. Zaske in relief, checks to first, and Hegre's back. Schmidt had an RBI double after Hegre doubled with 2 outs in the top of the 9th last night. The Hardhats were down 2-1, and Schmidt tied the ball game up at 2. Next pitch misses low, and the count will even up at 1-1 for the Hardhat backstopper. Tyler McKnight, the third baseman's on deck. He got his first hit as a Hardhat. Looks like he might be subbed out, though, if I see that correctly. That's Ryan Bachman in the on-deck circle. 1-1 to Schmidt, high and inside, and it's 2-1. Zaske, a tall righty, came in relief of Andy Larson, the lefty, who went 3 2/3. He came in relief of the starter, Ryan Paul, who only went an inning and a third to start off. Zaske from the stretch, 2-1 to Schmidt. Skips all the way to the backstop, and Hegre's going to take second. And so now the go-ahead run for the Hardhats is back in scoring position on the wild pitch. 3 balls and a strike now the count to Schmidt. With Hegre 180 feet across from him. And now time is called by the catcher, Dylan Johnson. He'll come out and have a quick word with Zaske. Hegre now on second, 180 feet away from giving the Hardhats back the lead for the first time since the top of the 2nd inning, when the Hardhats put up a 4-spot and took a 4-3 advantage. Looks like we're ready to go as Zaske steps back on the rubber and looks in for a sign. Hegre takes the lead off of second. Schmidt one last look at his head coach, Kelvin Torvey, on the third base coach's box. And it looks like we are back to business. 3 balls and a strike the count. Zaske a look to Hegre at second, and he deals to Schmidt. 3-1 high and inside for ball 4. So Schmidt walks. 2 free passes, still no one registered out. And that is going to bring up Ryan Bachman. So Ryan Bachman comes in for Tyler McKnight. And I would not be surprised to see him drop a bunt. McKnight finished the game 1 for 3 with a pair of strikeouts. Bachman, this is his first at-bat as a post-22 hard hat. Men on first and second, no one out, top of the 7th. The Hard Hats are trying to break a 6-6 deadlock. He shows bunt, and the first pitch comes in low, and the runner takes third anyway. And safe at third is Hegre. Smart base running for Hegre as everybody came in crashing to defend the bunt. Nobody was on third. And Hegre now 90 feet away from giving the Hard Hats the lead. 1-0, the count to Bachman here with now men on the corner. Still no one out in the top of the 7th. And now Johnson gives his sign from behind home plate to his defensive lineman. On first, Schmidt with the walk. Hegre led off the top of the 7th, hit by a pitch. A wild pitch advanced him to second, and smart base running has allowed him to steal third. 1-0 the count to Bachman, his first plate appearance as a Hard Hat. And he'll wait on his 1-0 pitch as Zaske steps off the rubber. And quickly back to it we go. Bachman in for Tyler McKnight. Pinch hitting in the 9-hole. 1-0 pitch. That's inside. 2-0. 2-0 the count to the pinch hitter for the Hard Hats. Schmidt off of first, Hegre off of third. Here comes the 2-0. Called strike on the inside part of the plate to Bachman. And it's 2-1. So Bachman in his first plate appearance as a Hard Hat. At the varsity level, you can only imagine what's going through his head right now. With a chance to give the Hard Hats the lead. Men on the corners and no one out here in a tied top of the 7th. Runner goes. Next pitch is low. And hanging on to the ball is Johnson. So a defensive indifference allows Schmidt to take second. 3-1 the count now to Bachman. Or no, they called strike. 2-2. I didn't see a strike signal. 2-2 the count to Bachman. 2 men in scoring position for him now. And the 2-2. Swung on and it's chopped foul. And the count will hold even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Schmidt now on second. Hegre, the most immediate threat on the base path. 90 feet from home. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bachman, and Zaske deals. High and inside, and the count goes full. It's a great first plate appearance here for Bachman. Tried to drop the bunt, drew everybody off the bag, allowed Hegre to take third. And he has battled back to a payoff pitch. Zaske's going to go full windup now. And he deals his payoff to Bachman. Swung on, and the ball is hit by the first baseman and into right for a base hit. 1 run comes in to score, and hanging on at third is Schmidt. An RBI single in the first at-bat as a Hard Hat for Ryan Bachman, and the Hard Hats have the lead for the first time since the top of the 2nd. It's 7-6. Men on the corners and no one out in the top of the 7th. A fantastic at-bat put together by Bachman, and now Cooper Bowman comes up back at the top of the order for the Hard Hats. Still threatening with Schmidt 90 feet away from home. Men on the corners for Bowman, who is 1 for 2. Hit by a pitch, a walk, a double with a run scored, and a pop out to second. Runner thought about going. First pitch is a called strike for Bowman, and it's 0-1. Bachman kind of jolted there in his lead. Thought for a moment he was going to try and go. Hard Hats now have the lead. They might try and get a little aggressive here with their base running. We'll see what happens. Bachman on first, Schmidt on third for Bowman. Here's his 0-1 from Zaski. Breaking ball, called strike at his knees. Brilliant pitch, and it's 0-2. Zaski's got to lock it down here for the Scarlets, and that was a beautiful pitch to try and set that trend. No one out here for the Hardhats. It's an 0-2 count to Bowman. Men to either side of him on the corners. And Zaski's 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball, swung on and missed, strike 3. Bowman was ahead of that one, and that is the first strikeout in relief for Michael Zaski. One down, men still on the corners. And that brings us to Connor King. 1 for 3, he has an RBI single under his belt, so he has dealt some damage here in this ballgame. Men on the corners and 1 out, top of the 7th. The Hardhats have retaken the lead for the first time since the top of the 2nd inning. And the pitch to King. Misses low, ball 1. Bachman on first, his first hit in his first at-bat as a Hardhat, an RBI single. On third, Ryan Schmidt, he was walked. And a defensive indifference in Bachman's single allowed him to take third. Want to know the count to King from Zaski, the righty. Takes a look at either corner, and here's the 1-0 to King. Low and inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Schmidt, the most immediate threat on the base path now. He takes his lead off at third. Bachman is lead off at first. 2-0. Swung on and missed by King, and it's 2-1. Two balls and a strike now, the count. As everybody takes their lead off the corners. 2-1 from Zaski. Breaking ball, called strike. Beautiful pitch right at the knees of King. It's 2-2. Very well played by Zaski there. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count. Men on the corners here for King. Zaski looking for back-to-back strikeouts. Steals his 2-2 pitch. That's a breaking ball high and away, and the count goes full. If King walks, it'll be bases loaded for Alex Weaver. If he puts the ball in play, it'll be at least an 8-6 lead. If he's out, it's still men on the corners, but 2 outs for Weaver. And still a 7-6 Hardhats lead. 1 pitch, so many possibilities here on this payoff. And Zaski deals. Swung on, ball is hit into right by the first baseman again for a base hit. 1 run's going to score. Bachman heads from second all the way to third, and King's going to try and take second with no one covering the bag. And so Connor King gets an RBI single, advances to second on the throw, and with 1 out here in the top of the 7th, the Hardhats have an 8-6 lead and 2 men in scoring position for Alex Weaver. So a second RBI single in this ball game for Connor King as he knocks in Schmidt from third and allows Bachman to take third. So Weaver with men on second and third. 1 out here in the top of the 7th, and the Hardhats with their first multi-run lead of the ball game. Zaski will go full windup here, and his first pitch to Weaver buzzes the tower high and inside, and it's 1-0. Weaver on the ball game is 1 for 2. A walk, a 2-run RBI single, a sac fly RBI, and a ground out to short. So 3 ribbies on the day for Weaver. He's had one heck of an afternoon/morning. We did start at 10 after all. Full windup for Zaski. 1-0 pitch, breaking ball low, and it's 2-0. We started at 10:03. It is now 12:25. So we are 8 minutes shy of a 2.5-hour ball game. The infield is in now for the Scarlets. They've changed their defensive alignment. Infield is right in on the fringe of the grass. 2-0 to Weaver. Swung on. Ball is chopped foul third base side, and it's 2-1. And on a hit like that, so dangerous with the infield in, that would have sailed right over the head of third baseman Jaron Wilcox. But it was foul. Nothing to worry about for him there. Second and third, 1 out, top of the 7th. The Hardhats with 2 runs and now have an 8-6 lead. And Zaski's 2-1 to Weaver. Swung on, and it's hit foul again, third base side. And the count evens up 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes the count now to Weaver. Looking for his second hit, potentially a fourth and fifth RBI. Weaver can blow this open in one swing. 2-2 from Zaske. Breaking pitch inside, and the count goes full. Another payoff pitch and back-to-back at-bats for Zaske in relief. He's had 3 full counts now to deal with in this inning alone. Full windup for him. First base open. Second and third occupied. Payoff to Weaver. Low and inside breaking ball is ball 4. And Alex Weaver will take his free pass to first. Bases are loaded. 1 out. And that brings up Jace Caldwell, the DH, who just got his first hit of the ball game in his first at-bat in the top of the 6th. He singled, but was called out in a 5-4 fielder's choice. He started off with a strikeout, reached on an error, flew out to center, and then got his single. So Caldwell looking to keep this train rolling for the Hardhats. Infield is now at double play depth. The corners are in, though. And we're just resupplying the umpire with the necessary piece to the ball game. The baseball, what it is named after. Every base occupied. Weaver on first, King on second, Bachman on third. First pitch to Caldwell is flared off foul. First base side, it's 0-1. Again, Caldwell 1 for 4. No balls in to strike the count. And Zaske deals full windup. Swung on, and the ball is hit high in the air. Foul territory, right field side, and it drops. In front of Cole DeVries, and quickly Caldwell's behind 0-2. Zaske has 1 strikeout in relief. If he could get a second punch out here, that would be that crucial second out. And it would also bring up Jack Sorensen. Double play could still end the inning, too. So the Hardhats have to be wary on the base path. No balls, 2 strikes to Caldwell. And Zaske deals. Swung on. Ball is hit high in the air. Left side of the infield. I think the infield fly rule has been invoked, or just on the fringe there. I think either way, regardless, the out's recorded. Coming in from right to make the play was Cole DeVries. 2 down. Bases are still loaded. That brings up Jack Sorensen. Sorensen on the ball game's 1 for 4. His only hit was an infield single with 2 outs. Infield is back at its normal depth. And time called by Sorensen before anything's thrown. Zaske taking his time. Full windup. And the first pitch to Sorensen with bases loaded. Nearly hit him in the bucket. Sorensen ducks for cover, and it's 1-0. One ball and no strikes the count. Sorensen has the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Hardhats have an 8-6 lead. Here is the 1-0. Outside off the glove, and no one is going to move. Everyone stays on their respective base. So the Scarlets avoided a massive sequence of chaos there. 2 balls, no strikes to Sorensen. Every base still occupied. 2 outs, top of the 7th. And it is an 8-6 Hardhats lead. Zaske, full windup. 2-0. Misses low. 3 balls, no strikes. And Sorensen's a pitch away from an RBI base on balls. Can almost guarantee you, unless it is hanging breaking ball over the heart of the plate, that bat will not come off of Sorensen's shoulder. And the 3-0. Low and away, ball 4. And so Jack Sorensen, an RBI base on balls with 2 outs, gives the Hardhats a 9-6 lead as everybody advances an extra base. So Connor King is on third. On second, Alex Weaver, and on first, Jack Sorensen. And with Zach Sumption coming up, the Hardhats have officially batted through the order here in this inning. 9-6 Hardhats lead, every base still occupied. 2 outs with Sumption up. And his first pitch is hit right up the middle and into center for a base hit. 1 run's going to come in and score. Here comes Weaver around third. He's going to come in and score. A 2-out, 2-run RBI single for Zach Sumption, and the Hardhats lead is now 11-6 with men on first and second and 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And we will go back to the man who started off this inning with a hit by pitch, and that is Matt Hegre. So King comes in to score. Weaver comes in from second to score. Sorensen heads to second, and Zach Sumption on first. 2 outs, 2 men on. Hegre started off the inning with a hit by pitch. And so we'll see how he goes about his at-bat here. Second time this inning he's been up. And the first pitch sails high on him for ball 1. Hegre on the ball game is 1 for 3. A single, a pair of runs scored. Also was hit by the pitch that we referenced moments ago. Mike Zaske still on the mound for the Scarlets. With men on first and second. 2 outs. Next pitch buzzes the tower high and inside. It's 2-0. If Hegre keeps it going, Ryan Schmidt will take his second at-bat of the inning. Sumption on first. Sorensen on second. 2-0 to Hegre. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air to left field. That ball has some legs. It has the distance, and it has left the ballpark. The first home run of the season for the Hardhats. And Matt Hegre blasts it over the left center field wall. A 3-run jack. It is 14-6. The Hardhats piling it on here in the top of the 7th with 2 outs. First home run of the season for Post 22. And now the Hardhats are really blowing this one open here. We were deadlocked at 6. And the Hardhats have scored 8 runs in the frame, have batted through the lineup. And Ryan Schmidt will have a second chance as we have a new pitcher coming in. Max Egan, number 2, will take over for Michael Zaske. So Egan, a right-hander, will replace Zaske, the right-hander. Zaske in his relief appearance went the inning in 2/3. Came in the top of the 6th. And ended up going an inning in 2/3 and allowed all 8 of these runs that the Hardhats have scored in this inning. So Max Egan now out in relief. Zaske only struck out 1. Walked 3. And hit a batter as well. Zaske threw just shy of 50 pitches at 49. And all 8 of his runs were earned. Four hits in the inning as well. 8 runs on 4 hits for the Hardhats. And we're still not done. So here comes Ryan Schmidt. Max Egan, first batter in relief, and Schmidt fouls it right in front of me on the fence. 0-1. Schmidt walked following Hegre's hit by pitch, and he came around to score. Hegre, fresh off of a 3-run home run to lead Schmidt to this plate appearance. And the next pitch from Egan's a breaking ball low and away. It's 1-1. First home run of the season for the Hardhats, and Matt Heggery just helps plaster on even more runs here in the top of the 7th. A 3-run blast over the left center wall. 1-1, missed low. On Schmidt, it's 2-1. Egan coming in with a fastball on that pitch. If Schmidt somehow keeps this inning going, then Bachman's on deck, ready to take a second plate appearance. If not, the heart of the order's due up for the Scarlets, who are now in an 8-run hole. Next pitch, low and away, and it's 3-1 now to Schmidt. Big rally here for the Hardhats. We'll go over the full inning summary here when we have a moment to. Right now it's 8 runs on 4 hits, not a single error handed out. Next pitch, low and away, is ball 4. And Ryan Schmidt gets a 2-out walk. That'll bring up Bachman. Take a look at how this whole inning went. Hit by pitch for Heggery, walk for Schmidt. Ryan Bachman, RBI single. Cooper Bowman struck out, RBI single for Connor King. A walk to Alex Weaver, a fly out to right field for Jace Caldwell. RBI base on balls for Jack Sorensen. 2-run RBI single for Zach Sumption, and then the 3-run blast for Heggery, and the 2-out walk to Schmidt. Bachman, the 12th batter of the inning for the Hardhats. Max Egan on in relief, takes a look at first, and his first pitch skips away from the catcher, and Schmidt's going to take advantage of second. So Johnson couldn't hang on to that pitch. A passed ball will allow Schmidt to go into scoring position. 1-0 is the count to Bachman. Bachman, in his first at-bat as a Hardhat, had an RBI single to give the Hardhats the lead. Next pitch missed low and away, and it's 2-0. Bachman came in last night to play second base and fielded the only play that came to him in the later innings. 2-0, called strike at his knees outside part of the plate. It's 2-1. I would imagine at this point Bachman might go into third, or they'll switch Heggery to third and have Bachman play second. So there is a defensive switch coming up in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Next pitch swung on, and it's hit to short. Stop is made on the play by Crofton, then he dropped the ball. And Bachman safe on the E6. And Schmidt was going. He advanced all the way to third as he advanced to second on the pass ball. So men on first and second. Back to the top of the order we go to the 13th batter of the inning. That is Cooper Bowman. This was quite a tight baseball game coming into this top half of the 7th, and the Hardhats have put up an 8 spot. First pitch, swung on and missed. And Bowman's behind 0-1. Bowman on the ball game, 1 for 2. Hit by a pitch, issued a walk, doubled, came around to score, popped out to second, struck out in the top half of this 7th inning. The only strikeout for Mike Zaski in relief. 0-1, misses low and away, and the count will even up to a ball and a strike. One and 1 the count. Bachman takes his lead off of first. Schmidt his off of third. And the next pitch to Bowman missed outside. It's 2-1. Bowman with men on the corners now. And 2 outs. Hardhats have a 14-6 lead. And Egan's next pitch swung on, and it's fouled off of Bowman's foot, I think. He tries to walk that one off. Count evens up 2-2. Egan looking to stop the bleeding here and send the Scarlets to the final half of the 7th inning. It can be done, but they are in an 8-run hole. They're going to need every hand on deck. 2-2 to Bowman. Missed outside, and the count goes full. If Bowman walks, it'll be bases loaded for Connor King, who had an RBI single earlier in this 7th inning. Egan really needs to get out of this inning now for his Scarlets club. Ben on the corners, 2 outs. The Hardhats with an 8 spot in this inning have a 14-6 lead. And the runner goes. Next pitch swung on. Ball's hit high in the air to left center field. That ball has some distance on it. And on the run to make the catch from left is Logan Meyer, and he gets the Scarlets out of this one. So the Hardhats end up plating 8 runs on 4 hits, no errors charged to the Scarlets, 2 men left on the base path on the corners. We have played 6.5 innings, and the Hardhats blasted 8 runs in the frame to now take a 14-6 lead over the Billings Scarlets. 3 outs remain for the Scarlets. We'll see how they respond as the Hardhats go back to defense in the bottom of the 7th. We'll be right back here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Baseball is a fun game of musical chairs sometimes, and that's exactly what the Hardhats have done here in the bottom of the 7th with their defensive alignment. Coming out of the game on the mound is Branson Keel. Taking his spot on the mound is the shortstop Cooper Bowman, his second appearance on the mound this season. Because of that, there is a shuffling of the infield defense. Bachman, who was inserted for Tyler McKnight, is now playing second base. Hegre, who was playing second base, is now over at shortstop. And over at third, inserted into the ballgame, is Carter Deming, who will take the position of Jace Caldwell as the DH, should an 8th inning be required. The Scarlets have their work cut out for them. They are trailing 14-6 to the Hardhats. Cooper Bowman, who came up with a 1-2-3 inning in his only inning of relief, striking out all 3 batters, is now on the mound. He takes on Dylan Johnson, the catcher, first. And his first pitch is a called strike fastball at Johnson's knees. Johnson, DeVries, and Musgrave, the 3 gentlemen due up, barring any substitutions for the Scarlets. 0-1 from Bowman. Swung on, ball is hit high in the air, but foul and out of play. And it's quickly Bowman in the driver's seat on the mound. 0-2. Cooper Bowman, just that 1 inning. And 3 strikeouts thrown. Back against Cheyenne last Sunday. 0-2 pitch. Swung on, and that ball is hit to short. Hegre gets the stop, but he can't snare it. And safe at first is Johnson. I think they're going to rule that one as an E6. We'll see what exactly happens. Regardless, Johnson on first to start off for the Scarlets. And that's going to bring up Cole DeVries, the right fielder. (14-6) the Hardhats lead. The leadoff man's on. That'll bring up DeVries, and his first pitch is inside for ball 1. 1-0 the count here to DeVries, who's 0 for 3. Reached on an error, came around to score, struck out and grounded out to second. Bowman, in just his second inning of relief this season, deals a 1-0, and that misses low. 2 balls, no strikes. Shortly following the conclusion of this game, about 20 to 30 minutes, the Hardhats will take on the Missoula Mavricks to end their doubleheader and their road trip. Bowman's 2-0 is a called strike on the inside part of the plate, and it's 2-1. Two balls and a strike the count. Bowman from the stretch, swung on and fouled. And it's 2-2 now to DeVries, the right fielder. Johnson on first. Two balls and 2 strikes. And Bowman deals. Low and away, it missed. Count goes full. Hardhats have a 14-6 lead, but if they can put up an 8 spot, so can the Scarlets. This game is far from over. Payoff pitch from Bowman. Inside, ball 4. So the walk issued to DeVries. And that will bring up Taylor Musgrave, the second baseman. Musgrave with men on first and second. Still no one out here in the bottom of the 7th. Aaron Seward, the first baseman, on deck. Bowman takes a look at second. First pitch is high and away, ball one. Bowman with some great velocity, but hasn't had much luck so far. There's an argument on bat positioning with our home plate umpire and the Scarlets coaching staff. Umpire wants the bats in the dugout. Apparently there is a line of demarcation that the umpire and the coaching staff disagree on. Next pitch from Bowman. Called strike, and it's 1-1 now to Taylor Musgrave. 1-1 the count. And Bowman deals. Swung on, ball's hit to third. Stops made by Deming. To second for one, to first for two, and he got it! A 5-4-3 double play as Johnson advances to third. So quickly, 2 outs recorded for the Hardhats on defense and out away from getting back in the win column, and that'll bring up Aaron Seward, the final hope for the Scarlets. He has a man on third, but now 2 outs. Cooper Bowman trying to get out of this. First pitch. Breaking ball outside. It's 1-0. Seward is 1 for 2. 2-run RBI double. A strikeout and a walk issued to him. Twice he has been stranded in scoring position in this ballgame. 1-0 pitch. Misses low, and it's 2-0. Jaron Wilcox, the third baseman, is on deck if necessary. Seward is the last out for the Scarlets. 2-0. High and away, 3 balls, no strikes. And he's a pitch away from a free pass that would bring up Wilcox. And the 3-0 is outside, ball 4. So a 4-pitch walk issued by Bowman. It's his second walk of the inning. It comes with 2 outs, men on the corners. And that's going to bring up Jaron Wilcox, the third baseman. Schmidt and Bowman have a quick exchange of pleasantries prior to Wilcox stepping into the batter's box. Wilcox on the ball game, 0 for 3. Reached on an error, scored, struck out looking, and popped out to short. And Bowman from the stretch deals. Runner goes as the pitch is inside, and they're going to let him go. Defensive indifference, as now Seward's on second. 1-0 the count. 2 men in scoring position now for Wilcox, and Bowman deals. Called strike on the inside part of the plate. 1-1 now the count. Wilcox looking for his first hit. It would keep the game going, and it would knock in 2 runs. 1-1. Low and inside. 2 balls and a strike. Bowman has a very quick tempo to how he goes about working. He's going full windup now as well. 2-1 to Wilcox. Breaking ball, and he went. Strike 2, and it's 2-2 now. Bowman a pitch away from ending this game. And here's the 2-2. Swung on, ball's hit right back to Bowman on the mound. Easy toss to first, and that'll do it. And the Hardhats take the win over the Scarlets thanks to an 8-run top of the 7th inning. And Post 22 gets the win 14-6 over the Scarlets. And they improve to 6-1 on the season, back on the horse in the win column. By the way, that inning summary for the Scarlets, it was no runs on no hits with no errors charged to the Hardhats. And 2 men left on the base path in scoring position. 14-6 the final score after 7 regulation innings. We'll take a step aside and come back with a full recap of this game prior to Game 2 of the doubleheader. You're listening to the Hardhats on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Post 22 Hardhats baseball here on ESPN Rapid City is presented by Courtesy Subaru, by Shields, Qdoba Mexican Eats, Renewal by Anderson, Sicky's Garage Burgers and Brews, Mustang Disaster Cleanup, and the Man Salon. Well, it took 7 innings for the Hardhats, but the game went 2 hours and 47 minutes, and in part of that, due to a marathon of a top half of the 7th inning, in which the Hardhats came around to bat 13 batters and score 8 runs on 4 hits to break a 6-6 deadlock late and take a 14-6 win over the Billings Scarlets. Thanks again so much for joining us here for today's first game of our doubleheader, folks. Mark Benetti alongside you here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV. Hardhats take game 1 of their doubleheader against the Scarlets by a 14-6 score, and they are set to take on the Missoula Mavricks here in just a few moments to close out what was supposed to be a 4-game road trip is now a 3-game road trip. Well, both teams started off trading blows. The Scarlets had a 3-0 lead after 1 inning of play. Drew Messer got the start for the Hardhats, and on his first 3 pitches, he retired the first 2 batters he saw, but then issued a walk, a hit by pitch, a reach on an error, and then an RBI single that cleared the bases off because it was coupled with an error in the outfield. So all of a sudden, it's a 3-0 lead when Messer looked like he was going to get out of the inning in about 5 pitches. Then the Hardhats come back at the top of the 2nd, and they fire back with batting through the entire lineup, knocking in 4 runs on 2 hits, and they also got a pair of Scarlets errors to help them out as well. That gave the Hardhats a 4-3 lead. The Scarlets came back to answer in the bottom of the 2nd to make it a 4-4 deadlock on a 2-run RBI single. On an RBI double from Ben Tallman. 4-4 is the score, and then we get to the bottom of the 3rd, and that's where the 2-run RBI double came in to give the Scarlets a 6-4 lead heading into the 4th inning. But once again, the Hardhats reciprocated. They tied the ball game up at 6, thanks to an RBI single from Connor King and a sac fly RBI from Alex Weaver with a man on first to eventually tie things up. 5th and 6th innings showcased zeros for both sides as Branson Keel came in relief and Andy Larson, the lefty, took over for the starter Ryan Paul. So we get to the top of the 7th. Michael Zaski comes in to take over in the 6th for the Scarlets. He's scoreless through 1 inning of relief, gets to the 7th, and that's when the wheels fell off the wagon. Matt Haggerty started off with a hit by pitch, followed by a walk for Ryan Schmidt. Ryan Bachman, in his first at-bat as a post-22 Hardhat at the varsity level, comes in with an RBI single. Cooper Bowman struck out. Connor King, an RBI single. Weaver walked. Jace Caldwell, flew out to right field. Jack Sorensen had an RBI walk with the bases loaded. Zach Sumption, a 2-run RBI single. And then Matt Haggerty comes up, and it's the first home run of the season for the Hardhats. A 3-run blast to make it 14-6. And then finally, 3 batters later, Bowman was retired with men on the corners, and that ended the Hardhats scoring spree. Bottom of the 7th came around, and the first 2 men got on the base path for the Scarlets, but a double play really cut into the Scarlets' chances, and Cooper Bowman in relief closed out the game to help the Hardhats to a 14-6 win. Hardhats now are 6-1 on the season, back in the win column after suffering their first loss of the year. And now they, in the next 25 to 30 minutes, will take on the Missoula Mavricks to close out their road trip. So we're going to take a step aside and send you back to ESPN programming. We'll be right back with Game 2 of the doubleheader in just a few moments here on ESPN Rapid City and on Hardhats-TV.